Hello, hello. What's up? Welcome to the brand new Straight Outta Stanton podcast. It's two of us crazy people who are really enjoying a lot of podcasts in our free time. And yeah, we both had some experience in either guesting or having our own. And currently, we don't have anything. So we decided to make something for us to enjoy, as being part in having it, and you to enjoy as listeners potential. So yeah, my name is Just Chag. You can find me on Twitch TV/Just Chag, and my fellow co-host Masocast. I mean, if you don't know about him already, he's gonna just introduce himself.
You probably don't know about me at all because I'm a teeny tiny person with a camera and microphone who occasionally streams Star Citizen. Masscast on Twitch. Yeah, I don't know.
You've been
Name suits me
guesting.
well.
You've been guessing
Oh
in a
yeah.
lot of podcasts. That's how I found out about you.
I like talking about Star Citizen. Turns out, which is kind of what I do mainly in the game these days.
I think the most
Yeah.
the most important thing about all this is like I feel like both of us actually wanted to have a platform where we can express our thoughts about not only the game itself but also other content that is flowing around without worrying about stepping on anyone's feet in their own content in a way.
Unfiltered.
Yeah, definitely. Not I don't feel like we want to do intentionally bad stuff. It just like it's gonna be raw.
Yeah, there's going to be some salt. There's going to be some positivity.
But one thing is
There's
for
going to be some
sure.
salt.
Oh yeah. One thing is for sure, both of us love the game. I think both of us can stay. Personally, it's my favorite game. It helped me get out of depression, or like at the time when it was really really bad, helped me out with it. And then when I started streaming it, I just met a lot of people in the great community that it has, and met some people that I'm not really a huge fan of as well. It is what it is. But I think both of us, like, if you hear us like ranting about the game, just to make it clear, we both love the project. We want it to succeed. We believe in it. We don't think it's a scam or anything like that. So it's just passion. That's what it is.
Absolutely. I'm going to just fully interject here and say, like, part of my history, like some of the first games I ever played was the Wing Commander games by Chris
Yeah.
Roberts. Privateer 2, all the Wing Commanders, Freelancer, Starlancer. Like I loved space games growing up, and Chris Roberts's games were kind of a big part of my kind of gamer history. And I kind of, as a result, when I first kind of discovered Star Citizen, yeah, in the era where most video game companies had fully written off the genre of space games, it was just like I was in, man. It took me. I found out about it in 2012, but I didn't actually pull the trigger until 2014. But it was something I followed pretty religiously, even when I wasn't a backer, just because I love the ambition, and I love just the space, the kind of like nostalgia feels I get from being a kind of a space old school space sim, while also having a lot of the new aspects, like
Mm.
like much better physics and much like, incredible detail on the spaceships and things like
Yeah,
that.
it's stunning.
So I would actually say that I'm definitely I'm a fan, even if I get critical sometimes. This is like the game that I have been looking forward to probably since, I don't know, probably since I was like 12 or 13 years old.
That
So
makes sense. Yeah. I didn't play many of his games. I did play Freelancer. I was introduced to it by a friend of mine, and but I always did play some space games. Like my main game for years was StarCraft Brood War, which is all in space. I played it online for a long time. I played some Elite Dangerous. I played some No Man's Sky. Whenever there's a space game, kind of, I'm interested in it. It just mind-blowing thing to me. And yeah, but there's a problem with Star Citizen though. You get spoiled. Like once you try playing Star Citizen, even though it's in alpha, all the other games are kind of, you just lack the that attention to detail, the quality and all that. Even though there's no like full game loops, still it just damages you forever. So be careful with that one. And what you brought up is really important. So we have, what I think is really cool is we have a good mix of experience and not so experience. So Maso has been backing the game since what, 2014, but following since 2012. I was a
Yeah.
complete naysayer. I was like, this is a scam. I don't care about it until it comes out. Until about a year ago, when a friend of mine came to my stream and said, okay, Chag, here's the money. With this, you have to buy Star Citizen and try it. And 3 days later, I started streaming it, and yeah, here we are. That's my main thing and my favorite game. I can easily say, even though it's not a game yet, yeah. But I think that difference in experience between two of us can bring some different perspectives, and for sure will get us to some strange conversations where just a different amounts of knowledge and experience of what the game used to be and how it's where it's going to, which is going to be so different from our points of view. Not to mention that we're not really looking forward to the same things to do in the game when it comes out, which I think it's also pretty good.
Almost even more than that. Like I'm looking forward to things that you don't even think are going to happen. So
That's also true. Also, Drake sucks.
Oh, come on. I'm not a Drake fanboy, but like, man, I love that like rugged aesthetic that like slapped together, looks like it came straight out of The Expanse, like the Belter ships or something like that. No Drake hate. Come on.
Maybe with
No.
this, but I mean, I like Caterpillar, I guess. Yeah. Cutlass, no.
Yeah. Oh, no. Right off the bat.
It's a useful ship. There you see it. Like that's the first difference. You can see that, yeah, we don't really agree on everything. So what you can expect from I just want to, like, this is the first one, so it's like a pilot episode, and the things that you like, there's the idea, it's like not really scripted, but we have the idea of how we want to go through the show week in, week out. And so basically the news, obviously, which a lot of podcasts go over, we're going to touch on most of the things, but then expand on only something that is relevant to us or interesting, or we know that other content creators do not really pay too much attention to. Then we're going to mention things that we did like in game, if something interesting happened. And then we have couple interesting sections such as Imagination Station, Stanton Gossip, and Massa's Zero Effort Science section that we're going to explain as we get to that. So sit back, enjoy, and yeah, tell us how you feel about it. You know what I mean? All right.
As far as like what we did in game, okay, I have to preface this a little bit. I've played every patch since 1.6. Yeah.
That's when I joined. No, I joined 1.7.
No,
you
joined
3.7.
3. Yeah. No, this
1.
is
Oh my god.
This is before the PU existed, and it was just Arena Commander, and we were still running on John. I can't remember his last name. The guy who originally built the flight model to be like true Newtonian.
Saw that guy.
It's not true Newtonian then.
That guy that was guessing a couple of like everyone wants that flight model back. He was like guessing a bunch of podcasts lately.
Yeah. Really lately even. Oh.
Maybe that's
man, I need to check those out. Maybe because yeah, anyways, like anyways, I've been back. It's been a while. I played every patch. Sometimes pretty extensively, though, I will say, through the 2 point whatever patches, like kind of off and on in Arena Commander. The PU was like so unstable in those patches, so it was pretty hard to play anything there. But this latest patch, 3.12, I haven't really played. I've been on, I think, twice. I kind of quit playing for a bit last patch, 3.11, because the stability was just awful.
It was very
and
rough for us, at least. Yeah.
and then finding out that like iCache wasn't coming until God knows when. It just kind of made me go, okay, I need to take a step back right now, and I just need to go play some other games. So mostly I've been playing Cyberpunk lately. I jumped onto 312 a little bit today, and I didn't 30k, so that was something, and it's pretty, it's like. But as far as like what I've done and what's happening in game, I'm definitely not the authority at this point because
You've done a
I
lot
don't
of
know. I
stuff in
just
Night City. Is that what it's called? I don't play
yeah,
Cyberpunk, so I don't know.
yeah. But I just watching like how many people are having issues with these latest couple patches and some of the issues that are rearing up again, like desync getting really, really bad again.
It
I've
is.
just kind of lost that desire to play. And it's
It's
weird
kind of sad.
because like it is sad. It is sad because ultimately, and this is exactly what I was just about to say. I want to play the game now. Like I'm coming to the end of
Mm.
my first playthrough in Cyberpunk, and I'm kind of like looking at like the new, like I'd love to play some new mining. I'd like to do the whole like mining refining, potentially hauling that. I definitely want to jump into the new reputation system with the bounties and stuff like that. I love my share of combat. So but I just keep like wanting to go back and then keep seeing all these issues that have kind of popped up in this patch and then just kind of holding
Yeah.
off and not
Also,
wanting to play.
you've been playing games that work,
Yeah,
and that
dude.
makes it difficult to
Yeah.
come back.
It's funny because like Cyberpunk honestly is known for being super broken and super buggy.
We are
Though
well
I will say
trained.
on yeah, like on PC, I will say it's not really like there's some bugs for sure, but it's not like super. It's not like you're trying to play it on like a last gen console or something. But
I'm
yeah,
not
like
playing it, but
even
a lot of people are saying that people who are playing Star Citizen, like my community, the people around me who are playing Cyberpunk on PC, are not really encountering many issues, and I don't really think that's true. I just think like after years of playing Star Citizen, you are just so used to things, and then if there's a proper game loop, you're just gonna embrace it.
yeah. Well,
You know what I
that's
mean?
it. Like I'm not playing through Cyberpunk and being like, "Oh my god, this is amazing. It totally lives up to the hype and there's no issues with the games." No, there's absolutely issues. And there's definitely areas where it's like, "Oh my god, this could use a lot more polish. This could use a lot more polish, etc., etc." Like melee combat, why the fuck is that even in the game? Let's be honest. Like it's
Oh, they had
like
some things there. Well, I don't want to expand too much on it, but it was supposed to be RPG, and then they turned it into action something. I don't know.
it
So
just
the combat is changed and whatnot.
yeah, like melee combat just does not feel good in
It
that
doesn't
game.
look good. I saw some
No.
people running around with katana, and it just the way you hold the weapon and all that, and the way you swing
Yeah.
is like,
And the
what
fatalities
is
aren't that
this?
good either. Anyways, yeah, like let me get this straight. Let me be honest here. Like there's absolutely areas in Cyberpunk where you can tell they could have used like another year of polish, but compared to the state of Star Citizen right now, it feels like a beautifully polished and complete game.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
that's what it is. Like, right? It's a game that came out on, and then on the other hand, you have alpha. That really,
yeah,
this is one thing that people don't understand. Like, Star Citizen really is in alpha. It's not like
absolutely, yeah,
what's the name? The White Knight take. It's just the reality. People like us who actually
yeah,
play it a lot, we know. Like, we can, especially if you're creating content, you can enjoy the game because yeah, if you're holding something and the server crashes, that's content. People will laugh about it, or like you're gonna react to it. There you go. Like, yeah, like, but if you're like watching a TV show on the other screen and playing Star Citizen and you get 30k, it's just not good experience.
yeah,
it's not there. It's just not there yet.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I played, I played a lot of 311, and I had a lot of issues. But it was kind of working. I didn't get that many 30Ks, but then 312 came. Here's the thing, like I think you will agree with me. We did not really expect much from 312
no,
because
I
on the
didn't at all.
paper it was like whatever.
Yep.
And then as it was about to come, I think we were all of, like, when I say we, I mean community of Star Citizen, not like two of us, but like and it was spot on. The reputation system is an absolute game changer, and I am
Totally.
happy that I actually managed to play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
When 312 came out, I jumped on the what's the name, the bounty hunting missions, and I actually absolutely enjoyed it. Except for the fact I was really triggered by the desync, as Maso said,
Yeah.
where I would go to a spot and wait for the ship
Yeah.
to spawn, and it's like a minute. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I had some people in the chat, they're like, well, it's not that bad because you get to a place, and then what they would do is they would get the next mission, fight with the map that never works, set up the next one. But by the time you set that up, your target will spawn. You kill the target and jump over. But I like that's another thing. Like then you would have to wait for the other pirates to spawn up if you want to do it. And what it's very messy.
Okay, very messy indeed. And the only way somebody could say it's not that bad, you just do this and this and this to work around the bug, it's because you have to, if you want to maintain that
True.
interest in Star Citizen. You have to kind of like
I was
justify the
irritated by
bugs.
that.
And
I was
yeah,
definitely
I don't,
irritated.
and
But it
I'll
was
be
good.
clear.
It was good to listen. It was good to progress through
Yeah.
the numbers. Like you start with, you paid to get like $500 space bucks and get this, like, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 missions, and then you go gradually. You do these
Mhm.
tests, and then I ended up making 5K per target plus 5 pirates.
Yeah.
Like meant 20K.
Yeah.
It's money. You can actually earn money, and I was doing it in like Aurora, and like it's just fun. But then 3 days after the patch, there was a hot fix because not everyone could play this part of the game, and since the hot fix, I've lost the ability to play bounty hunting missions. And after
Brutal.
that, yeah, I can't. I don't have them. After that, I tried like so many times, but I can do other stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff in the game. Like I tried mining and all that. But when there's that nice, candy there to play with, and you really feel like doing it, and you can't, your account cannot do it. I just, whatever else I try to play, especially on stream, I'm like, yeah, but I want to play the other thing and I can't. And the
Yeah.
reset doesn't help. Nothing helps. Like basically not. There's some, you can like find a player that hasn't done it yet, and then they share the introductory missions. Like, yeah, like
There are
whatever.
workarounds,
Make
but
it
it
work.
sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks that you have to do a workaround to be able to play the game. That's kind of what I was trying to get at with like people coming in. Well, it's not that bad. There's this workaround, this workaround. It just, after a while of having to figure out workarounds just to play a game that you want to play, it gets old. And again, like I just want to rewind a bit and just say, like, I love this game. I lately have kind of felt like it's kind of been beyond my my kind of desire to put the work in to be able to enjoy it.
True, and then you don't get rewarded. Like especially, so I played some other games like you did. I played RDO and SnowRunner, and like I complete the mission and I get rewarded, and that triggers the next mission, and it's like, oh man, I missed that. But you know
Mhm.
what is fun, and I think this will like, since I started playing Star Citizen, I'm new. I'm a year old. What
Our
do we
citizen
say?
millennial.
Millennial, yeah. And talking about Star Citizen is always amazing. Like that
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I podcast as well, because I like listening. I really like listening to other people talking about Star Citizen, regardless of if I agree or disagree, and I catch myself playing something else like World of Warships, for example, and listening Paul Shelley on the other screen talking to someone with the hot take about something. I'm gonna yell at my screen and be like, "Come on, man! No, did you play this patch?" and stuff like that. It's just so good to brainstorm and chit chat about Star Citizen, because I mean, the dream is massive, and I honestly believe, and that makes it
Yeah.
viable. So that's really cool.
I will clarify that as much as I have hyped this game too, like as much as I have high expectations for it, I recognize that, that's exactly what it is. It's that it's not going to be able to fulfill every every hype kind of thing that I want it to, but I still think that they're on track to make a really genuinely good and fun game to play.
I agree.
And
Let-
I honestly, I think the 312 thing is kind of evidence of that too. Like you said, we were going into 312 going like
Meh.
not expecting much. Yeah, like meh, there's not much on the roadmap. Even acknowledging that there is usually bonus stuff that isn't on the roadmap that appears in a patch. Like I just wasn't that excited about it, and they did manage to actually put a lot of stuff in there that made me raise my eyebrows and go like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool, like, and makes me actually want to like try playing, you know.
It was at
312.
311. Like after 311, we had the rough estimate of what we were expecting for 312, and at that point, because 311 was big. We got 2 new ships. We got the festival. We got like it was big in terms of content, like physical content in game. And then 312, from that perspective, was like, okay, we get Talons, right?
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah,
and that's the end of the
Yeah.
year. And then
Batescaping, which was pretty cool. But
holy crap! Oh my god, those are amazing. You saw them today. Oh,
yeah,
that's really good.
yeah.
Let's make, so I kind of, because Maso, you and me talk about Star Citizen a lot, and we were wondering why we're not starting the podcast before already, and I kind of see this podcast going long. So let's do something.
Given
It's
that this
the
was
first,
our like intro.
yeah, exactly. But that's why we're gonna do this. Let's try and predict when is Star Citizen coming out, and see if the podcast goes for that far, and if we make it to where we figure out if we were right or wrong. So I say 4 years. Very
Wait. Like wait. Wait. Are we
So
talking
past
about
beta.
like full past beta?
So it's always going to be like, right? It will all, it's a live project, right? But like when they say, okay, this is the basically release, when we exit beta, yeah. I wanted to say 5, but then I'm like, let's I want to be optimistic and say 4.
I don't know, because like I also could see them doing something like Warframe, where it's like still in beta, but it's basically the release game, but
Oh,
they
I
still
hope
call it a
not.
beta.
I hope
I
not.
mean, I guess you're right in that they're gonna have to pull the plug and do like a hard reset at some point.
Well,
But
yeah, and also when you exit beta, it's not going to be crowd. No, they can't, because it's not, right. The Warframe is not the crowdfunded project, right?
no,
So you
I
have to
don't know,
end the crowdfunding at some point, officially, and then turn it into like microtransactions or subscriptions or whatever they come up with. I don't know.
Oh, I
Right?
didn't even think about it from that way.
Because crowdfunder has to end, if I'm not wrong, like by the law, basically.
I actually didn't think about it that way. I think honestly, I think your 4 years is like pretty on point.
You got to come
As
up
far
with
as like
something
full
else
release.
now. We have to disagree.
Well, it's not going to come any. I really honestly cannot see it coming any sooner than that.
No, I think 4 or 5.
I still think I'm gonna say that they're gonna hang on to beta for a long time.
I think so.
Even if they get rid, like honestly, I could see them getting rid of the like crowdfunding thing when it rolls into officially beta, which, let's say beta, I could see coming in 3.
Oh wow, okay, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, because ultimately, like if you're looking at the actual definition of beta, it's like feature complete but not content complete, correct? No, or is it feature and content complete?
No, it's not. It's feature complete. Content complete doesn't have to be at all.
Yeah,
For a living game,
okay.
like World of Warcraft doesn't have content complete. It's expense, right?
Okay, well,
No, it's feature complete. I don't know
gonna,
if it's anything else, but yeah.
I'm gonna say beta in 3, and I'm gonna say release date question mark, like because I genuinely feel like they could hold on to that beta term, because here's the thing, like that allows being able to call themselves a beta.
I know,
allows them to get away with shit as far as like bugs or weird balance and stuff like that. So I think that's my prediction. It's that we're gonna get beta in 3, and then they're gonna hang on to beta for a long time.
Okay. I hope they're not gonna do Fortnite / PUBG thing. I hope they're gonna have it in them to say, okay, we're done. We're still going to evolve the game and all that, but like this is the end of beta. But yeah, I mean, eventually it will happen probably, but like I hope it's gonna happen in like 4 years, 4 to 5. All right, cool. So let's hop on to the next one. So this is the first episode. So we wanted to like give you a little bit of an info about us and what we do and why we play and why what the podcast in the first place and all that. But yeah, let's go. So the news, just briefly this time. There's been a lot, and since this is the first episode, technically whoever's watching this, everything is news. But we're just gonna pick it up like from New Year or so. We got 3.12 as a patch, which brought Talons, the Talon and Talon Strike, right? Which are the two bird-like Tavaran, what do you call it?
Light fighters.
Fighter. Yeah, light fighter. What are they? Medium fighters or light? I don't know.
Light fighters.
Okay, light fighters with some really cool new tech. I'm straight out. I don't like alien ships, but I did try Talons. The color variations are amazing. The wing movement is super cool because you can like change the the VTOL key will like change your wings, and you can actually flap the wings. I don't know if it affects you in the actual atmosphere, but it's really cool. It will. There's a little bit of that striking sound. Unfortunately, it's not loud enough, but you can hear it. I hope they boost that a little bit because that's like it's like Stuka. How do you call it? Stuka. We call it Stuka.
Yeah, the plane, Stuka, right? Bombers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it obviously wreaks havoc, like fear, and it's crazy. So it's really cool feature. I tried. They come with another new thing with like ejection. Is the cockpit goes forward, which doesn't work now, but you can eject yourself through the cockpit already for that final strike or whatever. It doesn't work, but it's somewhat implemented.
Final strike?
That's how they explained it.
I know, that's stupid. Continue.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, honestly. Unless you're attacking like human targets on the ground. But then you eject yourself straight into the ground. I don't know.
That's stupid.
It's gonna be really strange. I don't know what is in Tavaran's mind. So apart from that, we had some really big things. So we had a new roadmap, which Maso will expand upon. Chris Roberts' letter, chairman's letter, basically, which was very interesting. We're going to talk about that for sure. Mission reputation, which we already talked about a little bit, which changes the game drastically because now things have consequences, basically, and you're rewarded for like being, doing the same thing and like growing your reputation with different mission givers and whatnot. Absolutely changes everything. Unfortunately, with that we got the mission issues as well, but they will change that, right?
More than just like rewarding success, it penalizes failure, which is kind of a new thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it penalizes that much now. It's very soft, but like just implementing a system like that right now in the game gives you the idea of what can come in future, right? Which is finally that's the meat of the game, in my opinion. Like that's what game will be built upon, like the experience, basically, not just the game.
Totally.
Then we finally have Idris in the game as part of exactly the mission reputation. With there's two different Idrises in the game. There's a UE one, which is very difficult to defeat, and you can spawn. We've seen some servers that spawn like 20 Idrises, or they were like saying like Idrai. We still don't know how it's pronounced in the plural.
I think it'd just be Idris.
I think so as well. And then they would crash the server. Obviously, they're very strong, very strong. And then on the other hand, we have Arlington Gang Idris that is stolen basically, and that one. I will tell you later, but like that one, it's a nice reward. It's like 225,000 alpha UEC to kill it, and which is okay to share with like 10 people, and everyone still gets a fair share. It can be done once per account, and it's much easier to defeat than the UE ones. Different shields, I think, definitely different weapons. I'll touch on this later because there is. I followed the content creator who was actually building on it and eventually defeated in a single fighter. Like regardless of the experience, it looks absolutely amazing. The new shield tech is on these. I don't know. It looks really good. The other thing that the 312 brought is Xenothreat. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it's exciting, but the fact that they basically gave the name of the patch, what is it, like Attack on Stanton or something like that, and then they had that IGN. If you didn't see it, like, you can Google. You can check on YouTube the IGN Xenothreat. It's like a short video about it that pumps it up and all that, but and then like a day or two after the IGN released it, they said that it's not ready and they're gonna postpone it.
Oh my god, this is my surprise face. Fuck this. This is what happens every single time they do something like this. They hype it up, and then it doesn't work because the servers do not have the tick rate, to have an event like this happen. I don't understand why they keep trying it, because this happens every time.
This is a level of disappointment on a scale the same as 311 was supposed to bring, or 310, Idris for the first time for Arlington, and then they tried it for UEE. No, what's the name? IAE. The Navy, the Navy festival, whatever.
Fleet Week,
Fleet Week, yeah. And then they were like, okay, this is not ready. We can't have it. And everyone was bummed about it. This is even worse because I don't know if you've seen, but there's a Jericho station, which is a remote UE station in the Stanton that it's hard to find it. Like, you need coordinates and everything. And everyone's wondering why it's there. This is why it's there. So attack from Stanton happens there. That's where you defend roughly. Like, that's from what we picked up so far. Like, that's where you defend. And you help, like, it's amazing. Like, a whole server needs to help.
It'll be amazing if it works.
If it works, exactly. So you help building or repairing the javelin that helps you fight Idris. And so you can do, like, you get, like, mini missions, which are not only fighting, but also holding stuff, like goods and whatnot.
Like, really cool.
Very,
in concept.
Very cool in concept.
Like, I want to play this.
But I think probably even when it comes, it's going to be like crashing servers like half the times because everyone will show up there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But listen, if they made it on their own servers and it works and they like it enough to, allow IGN to make a whole cinematic about it, at least I kind of feel like once it's polished, it's going to be good content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when though? And that's the problem. I don't, like, honestly, I have no problem with them trying to put events like this in. Like, try it, put it in. We'll break it because inevitably that's going to happen because it happens every time and it doesn't work. And that's fine. But why did you feel it necessary to create yet another Star Citizen hater meme?
Here's why.
Like, I don't understand it.
IGN has a lot of eyes on them, and when they make a trailer about something like that, people will jump on and pay those $45 or $40 now because it's a new year, and it's the end of the year. Yeah, but it's gonna boost the already record-breaking year of Star Citizen.
and then you're gonna end up with that. You're gonna end up with that many more salty players who jumped in to do this cool thing that they created this cool cinematic for, and then found out that you can't fucking do it because it's broken.
I agree. It's bad marketing, but it works. Unfortunately, they make money like that. So, and don't get me wrong, I want them to make money. I always do.
I very much
think they're
do.
better. Yeah, there are better ways of making money than doing that. There was the same thing that happened to me that I was really pissed off. You remember the 311 again IAE Crusader Day? Oh my god, that broke my heart into pieces because they made it so that Jeremy Clarkson, I mean whatever the name is driving through the.
It's Jeremy Clarkson. Let's just be honest here.
He's driving through the C2, I think. Like that is on the floor.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my god! I was watching this through my stream. I was like, I don't even care about that ship. I don't need it. But I was like, I did it. It's there. It looks beautiful. I mean,
I want that ship.
I'm just saying, like, even I was excited about it. I was like, it's there. I can't wait. And I run there, and I get in, and there's MSR. There's nothing, and I'm like, why CIG? There was no need because MSR by itself was such a hype. did you really need to pull everyone for their noses and like, what's the
Well,
point of that?
I don't see the point in why they didn't have a C2 there. I mean, like if the whole thing wasn't complete, which it isn't, it's still in final art.
Yeah,
Fine,
close it.
lock off some areas of the ships.
Exactly. Just
Exactly.
lock
Yeah,
it,
like, but
man.
have it sitting there. Jesus, like clearly you have the exterior model done because you just showed it to us. Like,
And
like,
here as well, he's literally driving through it, and it's not like
yeah,
the Star Warsy, whatever the name of the new MSR video is. It's not.
yeah,
It's like that with
it was
Clarkson.
there.
Clarkson. It was
Yeah.
literally in there. Like you can see that it was
Like,
made.
and
Made it.
all you'd have had to do is do the same thing that you did in that drive-through video. Like, have the cargo bays open, and that's it. You can't go anywhere
Sure.
else in the ship,
Yeah. Yeah. That
and
will
then at
work.
least it's there. Yeah, that's another one where I just was like, I mean, it didn't bother.
It's
I don't
just
think it bothered
why.
me as much as it bothered you, but it was just kind of
Oh.
like, ah, you guys, like that would have been so cool. You missed an opportunity here.
I'm a very
I don't.
empathetic person, and I think about when I see like that, I immediately I get my disappointment, and then I'm like, how many more people will be disappointed for this? You know, they just turned a really hype day into a very sad day for no
I
reason at
wasn't
all.
super sad about it. I was just kind of like, oh man, like that would have been one of the major things that drew me in to like log into the game that day. And
If
as
they
soon as I saw that it wasn't
sure.
there, I was like, eh,
It's a
like
debate.
I have an MSR,
It's a
you
full
know,
on
like
debate, but a lot of people didn't
so.
have MSR until that day. You know, a lot of people are watching us who have it, and we're like, oh man, why did I not buy it? You know, and then
Mm.
that day was when a lot of people could buy MSR, and that was enough for the hype. So I just don't get it. Anyways, that's it for the news. There's some that we missed, but from now on we're gonna do it like weekly. So we're gonna be on top of the news. So from now on you're gonna see or hear whatever there is. And with that we can we can actually go to the first topic, Mr. Masso.
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have touched on CR's letter so far, but I just think there's so much in that letter to delve into. Not all of it positive, um, but like I think there was definitely some really interesting stuff in there. Like I guess I'll just kind of go through it. From negatives to positive, I thought that I found myself rolling my eyes a little bit at the marketing speech in the letter. I didn't think it was necessary, but like him expounding on all the amazing stuff that's made it in this year, when ultimately, like, let's anybody who's been following this project for a while knows that this was primarily a year that they were working on back end tech, and
That
we
did
were
not come out.
getting yeah, but you know, it's big stuff, but like, and ultimately I feel like we were fed kind of like low hanging fruit for most of this year. I know that maybe sounds a bit skeptical from somebody who proclaims to be mostly an optimist, but like I don't know, like
It was also
just reading
COVID
through like
year,
in
right?
alpha 3.9, okay, sure. Yeah, I will definitely cut them slack for that, because
Sure.
as he even points out in here, it's a different story trying to work remote as opposed to being able to kind of get that creativity off of the people,
Mm.
you know, the people in the desk behind you, or
Tapping
just
you on the
immediately
shoulder,
ask
and
for
yeah,
help.
exactly.
Yeah,
And that's true. It's true.
for sure. Like you know, so like I get it, that happened, but like I just felt like as a result, the whole like in alpha 3.9, we did this and this and this and this, and 3.10, we did this and this and this and this, like trying to kind of like plump up what was
Mm.
otherwise not necessarily, you know, the best year we've ever had. I felt like it
The end of it
reading
was
through
good.
it,
Mm.
it felt forced to me, and it felt
I feel like
like
he did not even write that letter. I feel like
prop.
his wife did, or whoever is in charge of marketing.
I mean, maybe.
I don't think he feels like that about the game. And the reason I said COVID is, again, just like the situation from a minute ago, is you failed a lot with delivering what you expected to deliver this year, which is okay by
Yeah.
itself. And on top of that, you have a really big tree to stand behind, which is COVID. So instead of trying to make it, and you delivered some good things as well, right? So it's not a bad year. It's like more than we could ever expect considering COVID and all that.
Yeah, considering the circumstances.
And then it brings a lot for the, like, I actually expect a lot from next year just because of the foundation that we got this year. So instead of putting like that, exactly what you're saying, like buffing up like to through the roof instead of saying, you know.
Yeah, but while I kind of roll my eyes at this, I also understand the necessity from a marketing perspective to do stuff like this, because as much as okay, so basically, I don't know, how do I say this? It's been reiterated to me time and time again by people who have experience in public relations and marketing and stuff like that, that basically you can't say that you fucked up. And it sucks that you can't. You know, like, I think that's a problem in our society, but basically you can't say that, because, like, you know, because it's people, you're basically just going to be feeding ammunition to people who are going to make money off of you saying you fucked up, and it's going to ultimately do damage to your project.
But there are other things that you can't do, and Chris Roberts is doing it, right? Like,
true.
In that same letter, he's like, you know what? Indirectly, he's like, look at Cyberpunk. It's done when it's done. Fuck you all, right?
Yeah, fair. And ultimately, I have no problem with that part.
No, me neither. But I wish he was the same when it comes to marketing.
In fact, I don't know. Looking at our document here, I wasn't even going to talk about Squadron 42 in this letter because, like, I'm kind of fully on board with CR at that point. It's just like, it's done when it's done. I don't even fucking care, you know. Like, I don't.
We bought our, but I think a lot of new people, changed their mind because of what happened with another project that has been in production for 8 years from a fully, you know, established AAA studio, right?
With multiple titles under their belts. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I think Cyberpunk helped realization of, like, you know, our community of, like, calming down a little bit and just okay, we don't want. I wish that applied.
I wish that applied to, like, hype mongers and media as well, because
they need their bread, bro.
I know they do, but it's ridiculous that they make it off of rage clicks, and, like, because ultimately all I want is for people to have the freedom to just admit and be honest when they fucked up, you know, because that's what I want. YouTube. I know it doesn't, but, like, that's what I want as a consumer. Like, I want it straight, man. I don't need your marketing, you know, talking up everything that you released in every patch this year, which was ultimately kind of lackluster, in my opinion, you know.
And it's so strange. You want that, and you're funding this project, so you should have a right to it as well. it's kind of strange, but you don't really expect it, right?
No, I don't. So and like, honestly, we got a little bit of those sort of disclaimers, as you pointed out. Like, CR kind of, like, you know, threw a little bit of those to us, saying, like, look, it was a tough year. You know, we didn't get everything we wanted to, and, you know, I just wish they didn't have to hide it underneath all this hype talk. It's frustrating for me. But good things. Well, actually, sorry, there's one more kind of, like, weird thing, but also good thing, and that's the funding. I'm glad that this year did so well in funding. Like, I think it's awesome, because it just means that, you know, the more money they make, the closer they will get to making this super awesome game that I'm really, you know, really hoping comes to fruition. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm happy about the funding, but it felt a little bit awkward to me to have, like, CR out there bragging about it.
Oh yeah, that is strange.
In the letter, I was just kind of like, this doesn't feel good. Let us be excited about the crowdfunding. Maybe you don't talk about that so much. There was
another part of that where he is, like, telling you boomers that, like, it's fine, guys. You don't have to spend anymore. Just, you know, play the game and then the new guys will, the Zoomers will spend.
Yeah, which is true.
Like
Absolutely
it's true,
true.
but
And
see,
that
you don't say that in marketing as well. Like, see, like
no,
that. That's why I'm
yeah,
surprised he doesn't like that part. He wrote that part for sure, but the other
yeah,
one, I don't think he did. It's like, and then probably someone
yeah.
said, "You don't want this," and he's like, "Fuck you! I want to have it.
Yeah,
It's my letter.
fuck you, I'm the CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say what I
It's my
want.
toy." Yeah. So
Which he
so
said a
that's
lot in that
crazy.
letter, which
Yeah.
honestly I appreciated, to be honest. Like
I mean, it's true. It's true.
the
It's very true.
candor of him just saying like, I'm not releasing the game until I'm satisfied with it. Like, I thank you. Thank you.
Do you
I
think?
believe you when you say that.
Do you think he would have said that if Cyberpunk did not flop? The way
Yes,
it
I
did?
still think he would have.
No,
Maybe
no,
not
no,
the
no,
way
no.
he
Wait, wait,
did.
wait. No, wait.
Not as
I'm
brazenly
not
as he
asking
did.
you if he would have done it or not. Would he say it in this letter? Don't you think the Cyberpunk happenings actually gave us
Gave
that?
him
Yeah.
It gave him the boldness to be able to let something like that out and
Exactly.
say it as with the candor that he did, for sure. I think that was definitely a
Oh
fact.
man,
I
I
mean,
think Cyberpunk
he
helped this game
references
so
it right
much.
there.
Yeah.
He references it right there.
Yeah.
But
Indirectly, but yeah.
but yeah, like but I kind of tied into that with what you were talking about, like how he talked to our Star Citizen boomers, saying like, you guys don't need to spend any more money. You did good. You know, the new people are spending. Tying into that was the metrics, which I think is a positive thing. And I know we're going to get into an argument about this because well, whatever.
Because
I'll
they're
let you
wrong.
say your piece. But how do you say it's okay? I really liked the breakdown of all the numbers. I liked seeing that and stuff like that. And sure, okay, I can see. I'm going to head off one of your responses right there. Yes, these are numbers that are coming from them, the company. So obviously, have to be taken with somewhat of a grain of salt because they're going to put out the metrics that are most favorable for them.
They're worded in a way where everything can be said in more than one way
But
and read in more than one way.
I still think that regardless of how they try to spin those numbers, looking at them still gives you some interesting data. I love data. I love it. So
Data
anytime
from Star Trek or like
okay, both. I just love, like, I love seeing the numbers. I love seeing the graphs. I really liked how they dived into, the difference in playtime, difference in the average playtime sessions. Like, I think obviously there's a lot to read into with that. You can't take it at face value, but it's there. Like, the numbers are there for us to read into, and I think that's a good thing.
We have to stop here and talk about one thing.
No, that was me stopping here so that you can say your bullshit.
But it's not. It's really not bullshit. So we had a talk before about. So there's two things here. First of all, as a new backer, for a long time I thought melting and rebuying ships is what affects the numbers, and then I was convinced, or people tried to convince me, including Maso, that that's only, let's call it war bond money, right? Like fresh money, and not the melting. But with this letter here, we had a long conversation because there was the old metrics that said the Auroras are like the most bought ships, and that's where the money is. And I'm like, I don't know, man, because there's just not that many players. Whatever. There was a whole argument about this. However, there's another thing in this letter that really, it's just the words and how you pick them. Chris says unique players instead of unique accounts, because I see that as a blunt lie. Yes, but when he says you need unique players, you cannot have that metric. It's absolutely impossible, and it's a lie. There's a lot of people who have multiple accounts. I would say at least, even I'm from Serbia, okay? So even I have an alt account.
Yeah, but have you changed the details on your account, your second account, or is it under your same information? It's just a separate account.
But you can't. What if that's another Nikola Kovacevic? That's what you think. That's what they're tracking.
Well, I think that's one way that they can track it. And while it may not be 100%,
I had a
Um,
guy a few days ago who just signed up for Star Citizen. He was like, "Dude, do I really have to use my real name here? I feel awkward about that." There are people just like
sure,
adding different names
sure
there and
there are,
whatnot.
but I'm gonna posit that that is not the majority, and that the people who are signing up for alt accounts, if all they want is an alt account, don't give a shit about whether or not they're using the same names and stuff
But
like that.
listen, what's
While
wrong
there
with?
is probably
Sorry,
while
sorry, go
there's
for it.
probably a margin, there's a margin of error that you have to account for there when you're looking at those sorts of numbers. But I think that it's pretty safe to say that if they're tracking unique players, they can just easily, with the use of like simple tools, weed out the people who have duplicate accounts, who have named themselves the same on both accounts. So obviously, again, there's going to be a margin of error there where people have made two accounts and called themselves different things on the accounts and have different details on the accounts. But that isn't by default, that doesn't make it so that it's the majority of the people who have those alt
But
accounts. It
okay,
basically
but
gives them a
here's the
way to
thing.
basically trim down.
No, but listen, but if you watch like an account, an alt account still gave money to the game and exists, right? So there's nothing wrong with
Sure.
alt accounts.
No,
So
not at
why
all.
would you
And I'm not
not
saying there is.
use number of accounts, which is a
They did.
static thing that you know? Like I have no illusion that they're unaware of the number of accounts. And instead you use unique players that that come on man, like one is a fact, right? One is a fact and the other can be played around, or what for? Again, like unnecessary detail that might or might not be true. And then there's more people like me who are like, I don't know, man. Now I don't know, because you're playing with people's trust like this. Like what for? Again, there's no reason. It's the C2 thing again. It's the IGN thing again, and it's here. Like instead of saying just here's how many accounts we have, which is an impressive number.
Well, but they did. Like they said here right there. Like they don't say unique accounts. They say we added over 400,000 new accounts. So, even if some of those are duplicates, 400,000, you guaranteed, like not even a double digit percentage of those are duplicate accounts. Like if you're talking about 400,000 new accounts to the game in 2020, sure, some of those are going to be duplicates, but it's not going
I
to
think a
be
lot will be duplicates actually.
but how though? Like sure, I'm
Here's
sure a
why.
lot of those are,
Okay, wait.
but
Listen,
I would be
they brought
absolutely
something new.
stunned.
They brought something new to the game that makes people buy duplicate account.
Prison.
That's not even what I was thinking about, but that's true. That's another one. That's why I have two accounts, because when I'm locked up in the prison, first of all, to play that shady gameplay on my alt account and YOLO, and when I get into prison, I can get back on my main account. But even without that, that's not the reason in my eyes. Like, but look at the situation now. If you refer your own account with a new account, you get $40 LTI token on bot accounts for $45. You understand?
Okay. But yeah, sure, absolutely. But okay, so you're saying
And the same
that
was with the what's the name? The Kruger.
you're saying that more
Merlin?
than 40,000 people did that.
No, I'm saying more than 10% did it, which is
That's
double digits.
40,000. That's double digits.
Oh yeah,
right there.
I think 10%. Yeah, I think 10% did it.
Okay, but even if 10% did that, even if 10%, that's 360,000 new accounts in 2020.
My point is, why do you even give yourself this situation where some people like me will question your numbers for a complete nonsense?
Say that again.
So why would you even get into a situation? You can just say the number of the accounts instead of giving opportunity to people like me who might question, the validity of the rest of your numbers, because you are playing with numbers that you might not have actually.
See, and that would be the case if all they said was we added over 400,000
He
new accounts.
opened with that. You're watching the
Sure.
wrong
And
section.
then
He
he
was like,
followed by grew our paying players by 20%, recorded the best year in terms of new paid player growth. So regardless of whether or not those are secondary accounts or not,
no, but
you
that's a
know,
different section of the text.
second best in new accounts, 1 million paying player accounts. Like those are all significant and important metrics,
I agree.
you know?
I don't mind
Um,
mentioning players, but at the beginning of the letter, when he, no, it's not the same. I don't have the letter in front of me, but like the first time he mentions the number of the accounts, he says number of players instead of accounts, and then goes to something else. Like it's somewhere at the beginning. Like I don't know.
okay, I'm actually looking at
Okay,
the segment on explosive growth, new
yeah,
players and
that's
engagement.
different. Now there he goes more in depth, and I don't think there's too
Yeah.
much drama. But at the
Okay.
beginning, when he says like, "Oh, here's the number of players we have," and I'm like, "Sorry,
Wait, really?
Chris, this is really number of accounts, probably not players." And I'm like, "Come on,
Oh
man."
yeah, yeah. We had
Huh?
over 740,000 unique players.
There you go. Why not accounts there
Um,
when you're like just bringing the news to me? And then after that, expand and say, "We think this is the number of
okay,
players." Sure, that's
but
fair.
even 740,000 unique players. So even if some of those were alt accounts, even if 10% of them were alt accounts, that's only 74,000 off of a total of almost a million people playing game, which is
Sure.
significant. That's it's like it's significant to, and I think that is legitimately important. Ultimately, obviously, it's put out there to instill confidence in people who are maybe like me starting to feel a little bit of burnout and stuff like that, and wondering if this game is ever going to come out and if it's ever going to be the game they want it to be, etc., etc. So clearly I get it. The rhetoric is designed in such a way as to kind of assuage some of those fears and keep people from doubting the project. Sure. Like I said back in the previous kind of point about this, it's like absolutely it's marketing speak, and like it's one of the problems I had with this letter in general. But the metrics, especially when they start going into detail and throwing out, number after number after number, those are interesting. And that's where I think you can really like parse down and get a better idea about the overall health of the project. And that was one of the things I really appreciated reading, regardless of the
I
rhetoric around it.
I'm the
Seeing
same. I
those
want
numbers
numbers. I want
gives you
numbers.
something to kind of like crunch, look at, and compare to kind of the other numbers that they're listing. And I thought that was really cool. I was really glad that he put this in this particular letter, because I think that's data, man. That's not. I guess I'm going to kind of tangent a little bit, because like there were a lot of people who've talked about this letter and being like, "Oh, thank God, finally CR is talking to us again," and stuff like that. I don't give a shit about that, to be honest. Like I don't like. People are like, "Oh, CR needs to talk to the community." So
No,
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 I'm sick
please
of hearing
no.
from Chris. I'm sick of hearing from Chris. I followed this from 2012 when like when he was doing the regular 10 for the chairmans and talking about fucking Tavar and Kung Fu. Like
Chris,
that guy will talk and talk and talk,
yeah,
but repeatedly he has been shown that the stuff that he is saying doesn't necessarily, in fact, most often doesn't,
he's a dreamer.
and yeah, doesn't end up being the reality of the game. So, like seeing the letter from CR, I was kind of like, okay, well, fucking big deal, like
But
expecting
actually,
to read more smoke,
true, true,
smoke
true.
and
I agree
mirrors,
with you.
hearing from him for so long. But then he threw these numbers in here, and it was something interesting to actually take away from it. You
It's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
letter
It
with
is,
some
and
issues in
that's
it, but
absolutely, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I don't really care if Chris talks to the people for the most part, because
he
like
shouldn't.
it's been shown that like ultimately as the head of this project, his primary interest is keeping people interested in
Mm.
this project, which I'm not interested in. I'm already interested in this. I want to hear the details. I want to hear the numbers. I want to hear from Tony Z. I want to hear from Todd Pappy. I want to hear from, people like that.
Yes,
But to have this letter padded out with some genuine numbers that we can look at and crunch into, that made this letter satisfying to me. So that's my positive end point of this particular letter. Was I just really liked seeing some actual numbers that we can look at, and that did way more for me than any of the marketing speak and hype speak before that.
Fair enough. Was this the first time you guys get, because this is my first year. Was this the first time you get something this detailed at the end of the year?
My memory is horrible, so I can't be an authority on this, but this is the first time I remember actually being able to read through and actually have a lot of the details about the overall health of the project, as far as like players, growth, etc. This is the first time I remember getting something with this much like written out like this. I know we've had like bits and pieces over the years, but it was nice to see it all conglomerated in one place.
So if you guys, so I tried reading this letter in full on my stream, and I was after like, and I was stopping because I want to expand on everything and whatnot. I figured out like, okay, so this is not gonna work. So then I read it on my own, but if you guys, it's a very long document. We will have the link for it under the chat, but also I'm gonna add the link of Meyer, who is one of the streamers and content creators that I really like. In his super deep voice, he read the entire letter, so you can it's like 40 minutes long without any comments on it, except at the end he was like, okay, I need water now or something like that. But he reads through the entire letter, so if you're like playing a game or something, you can have it in the background in case you did not go through it, and you want to get all the bits and pieces of it. The link is in the description below. You want to add anything else to the letter?
No, I think I've rambled on for long enough.
I do think it's a good thing to have it at the end of the year, and I wish we're gonna have this at the end of each year. I think that would be really cool. I don't care who writes it, but they can call it whatever they want. But it's important to have something, even if he's like overly hyping his own, game. But it's okay. I mean, at least
I'm so glad it happened.
Yeah, I agree. And you can feel in it that he's proud of what they did, which is important.
And he should be, and frankly, all the devs should be.
Oh,
because like absolutely difficult year, and they've still like, I mean, even though there's a ton happening behind the scenes. Sorry,
not all the devs should be. There's that one dev that I'm gonna point at you right now. Whoever designed lights on 85X Origin and swapped the colors. Red light goes to, I don't care. Maybe they're still in the studio. Red light goes to the port side, which is left side, and the green light goes to right side, which is starboard side. Please change that. I'm gonna explode. And I have that ship. I'm not flying it because of that. Okay. That's everyone hilarious. Else is good to go. If he changes that, he's amazing. I don't mind. Or she is. They are. Whatever. No disrespect.
But absolutely, like there was a ton happening behind the scenes to get the tech into a place where this game can actually kind of fulfill
the foundation
part. Yes.
That is implemented this year.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of us think like we didn't, I did not have any kind of expectations, like big expectations for for this year. This year brought persistence, which was the point for me, most important point, because I can save money and buy shit, have my own goals and whatnot. The next year, I don't have any anything that big to look forward to. But what 3.12 brought, okay, I believe big things can happen next year. I kind of feel like maybe the last patch of the next year, we might have one of the pillars, like
and I also, as somebody who's been here for a long time, recognize that there is a pattern here where we're constantly saying, I really feel like next year is going to bring some big things. I've been saying that since 2014, but yeah.
Because I'm not that optimistic in general of a person, and I know this takes time, but I need that something to keep me like, because like they promised, they said that, what do you say, iCash second quarter, which I don't
But
believe
they
will
didn't
happen.
promise
No, but
that.
that's
They
like their
didn't
plan,
promise that
right?
at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the plan is second quarter. And I kind of feel like there might be a like 4.0 patch. This is my prediction again, based on nothing. That 4.0 might happen at the end, like the last patch, like 3.12 now, that might bring a couple of these big things like iCache, maybe server meshing, maybe Crusader, maybe with Orison, maybe, and maybe what's the name, the salvage. And I feel like if 2 or 3 out of these happen by the end of next year, with the expansion of what we already have now, which is
I'm
the
gonna be
reputation.
salty here.
Go for it.
I'm gonna say, well, I don't even know if this is salty. Just I don't think you're gonna get 2 out of 3 of those. I think you might get one.
But then, depending which one it is, it might be big, right? But also,
It'll
I'm
be
well
eye
aware.
catch.
But I also fear iCache a lot because a lot of people are like hoping that iCache will just magically
No, it's
turn the
not going to be
game
a
into.
silver
It's
bullet
gonna be
because
a
it's
shit
never a
show,
silver bullet, and it's never been a silver bullet ever. We've never had any one feature that's been a silver bullet.
dude.
The only one
Everyone's
that
holding on that tree like their life depends on it, like content creators.
I guess I would caution and just say that iCache itself isn't going to do a ton. It's just going to enable,
Yeah.
them to do things.
But I'm afraid when it comes into the game, the implementation of this might be extremely rough.
Oh, it will be. But
That's what
ultimately, we're
scares
seeing
me.
bits and pieces of that implementation right now.
Sure,
So
it's like the
um,
socks on steroids, basically, right?
yeah.
More or less. But it's
Except it was
different. But
it was OCS that did the major. That was the major thing that rolled it into an actual playable game. That almost was kind of a silver bullet. But anyways, we're getting off topic.
yeah,
We're getting
true.
off topic.
All right, so I'm gonna just quickly mention what else happened, which Maso doesn't even know about. So we had our yearly end of the year event, which is I think Banu, New Year kind of end of the year festival called Luminalia, and this is my second one. You can find like these little presents around Stanton and sell them. I found the first day I found 36, and there was a bug in the game where you cannot sell it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was great. However, I am like deeply disappointed with what they did because there was free shit to get, and I'm calling it shit because that's what it is. It's an utter bullshit that you could get like as daily rewards. I think maybe you can still get it, but here's the thing: like the end of the year, we have these major game platforms like Epic, GOG, Steam. I don't know. Like everyone's gifting free games, and then
Mhm.
on that train hopped RSI, and they were like, "Hey, if you go to the website every day, there's a new gift for you." And they started off kind of interesting, even though that's not my cup of tea. But they gave free Pico, like plush in game, which is okay. I mean, it's an in-game item,
Mhm.
right? Not too
Yeah.
bad. I don't care about it, but sure. I didn't get it because I did not
Collectors like to
know.
collect.
Yeah. And then the next day was a wallpaper. And then the next day it was like this funny JPEG. Like I think it was like blue background, and it's like in Bano it's like Happy New Year or something like that. So you can download that. That's your gift for the day. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why? We don't need this. Don't set it as a gift that you can download your free surprise JPEG. It's not even full HD. It's
I've
like
got it.
3:4. Like it's not like 16:8 whatever. Like, oh my god. I'm like,
I've got to
no.
rewind a little bit to Star Citizen, like just like constantly creating memes and like getting a free JPEG is like, oh my god! Like people,
Yeah,
the internet already memes on
exactly.
Star Citizen selling JPEG spaceships,
I
and now
think
you're
they memed on themselves with that. They should call it
anyways
like
okay.
JPEG. That would be cool. Star Citizen JPEG. I would download that shit and I would have it in the
I would
background.
too.
Right?
Oh my god! Yeah,
But
that would have been
yeah.
good.
That would
Some
be amazing.
self-deprecating humor.
that would be almost as cool as, you remember the Flat Planet last year for April Fools?
Vaguely. Oh yeah.
They were like Planet Tech 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And every page plan was like flat, and it was well done. Like you could see, like it was good, a flat yellow and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. It's just really disappointing. There's no need for these. I don't know. There's again unnecessary. And someone had to do this, right? Someone had to actually work on the website, change it every day, announce it, and all that.
Yeah.
For what reason? For what reason?
Well, and see, here's the thing. Like, I'm fine with the marketing team coming up with marketing things like this, but just make them something more substantial. Like the idea itself isn't bad. It was the gifts that were like, what? Like, so it feels like you put all this effort into coming up with the marketing piece, which is like, come to our website and get a free gift, and setting all that up on the technical side of things.
Like I bet you now, if you go, it's still there. You will not find it. It's like extremely difficult to find it.
Or maybe it was just like really last minute, and they didn't really have a chance to think any of it through. Like they were just bandwagon jumping, like you said.
Yeah. To their defense, they did do other stuff for the new year. So we have a reduced price on starter package Aurora that is $40.60, I think, base, and then tax on top of that if you have it. And then on top of that, there's a really good promotion right now where if you get someone to use your code, both you and the other new player gets the free lifetime insured Dragonfly. So, and you can upgrade. Like I wasn't sure at the beginning, but I tested it and I upgraded mine to Nomad with with store credit.
Yeah.
And I have a lifetime insured Nomad because I brought a new player to the game. So that's like a nice debate that you don't feel bad about going through it, right? It's okay for both sides.
Out of it.
Yes,
they basically gave you $40. Well, not really, but like sorta.
JPEG $40 with lifetime insurance, which I don't really care personally about lifetime insurance, but it was nice to add $40 to my account. Why not?
Totally. Yeah.
And that new player actually, like the person who like spots the person who actually did it, he plans on upgrading that to Avenger Titan, which is only $15, and then he has Aurora and a Titan. That's
huge.
Really that's a really solid reason to jump into the game now.
Totally.
So yeah, I even what I was saying, like right now, if I didn't have that, maybe I would consider making an alt account because of that. Probably not because I already have one and I can't really afford to spend money like that. But like it's okay. Like if you want an alt account, this is a really good time to do it.
Yeah.
And with all that said, like you really didn't need those gifts on the website. Like, come on, there's good stuff here. No need to like make it a joke, with some stuff.
Like exactly. Like instead of like making it some big event, you could have just said, here's some cool backgrounds and stuff like this if you want them.
Yeah.
Like that's it. You didn't need to hype them up like that. But yeah. Rolling on
with something that I unfortunately will let you guide me through it as well because it's very confusing for me.
Okay.
I'll explain why when you start. Don't worry.
Big topic. And again, it's something that's been covered pretty extensively by other content creators. So I don't know how much we'll go into it. Maybe if you do have questions, we can I'll answer as I see it. But the new roadmap, again, news, man. Like this was something that I thought was awesome. I really like where they went with this, and I'm really excited to see where they keep going with it because data. I like being able. I like the way that they've done this up in a way that you can view it as your classical roadmap, like we've seen already, or you can go into the progress tracker and see literally like a timeline of like where they are scheduling people to work on stuff, how long it's expected to take, and being able to have it update. They said every 2 weeks or so, but it may not actually update every 2 weeks depending on like what's actually changed.
Of course,
I'm
yeah.
certain that the people who do the roadmap updates, I can't remember his name. There's a guy who does a fantastic roadmap tracker
Oh yeah, the
on
one,
Reddit.
the Reddit. Yeah, I don't know his name,
I'm
but
certain they'll probably keep up on this
we're
a
gonna
lot more
mention his
religiously
name
than we
next
will.
time. I'll have it up
But
because big kudos to that guy.
sure.
Here's the
But
thing.
I love
just,
I love all the data here.
just
Like,
quickly
it's
for
awesome.
those who are not aware of what we're talking about, like the roadmap that used to be in the game until now
Mhm.
has changed technically. We still have the same old visual style of a roadmap, but we also have a very, very detailed, what's it called? Sorry,
Progress tracker.
progress tracker with like little sliders where like you can see what's in development.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see everything. Some things are hidden, which is very healthy, I think.
Sure.
But then
Absolutely.
these can be like expanded or shrinked or whatever, so
Yeah.
you can
But it's
see.
basically like looking at a timeline, right? Like instead
True.
of just like our previous where you just saw like a release view for every quarter, like what's expected to come out with that, and then all the frustration that would happen around like, okay, so this is supposed to be coming out in 3.13, and then randomly it disappears because it turns out that like, you know, it was going to
See,
take longer. And
this
then
is where I have a problem. It's not I don't think you're correct, because they already said so right now on the roadmap that I can watch, because it's simple. And let's say I'm an, whatever Andy that doesn't want to dive in 2 hours of checking the progress or whatever.
okay,
I had 3 months, or sorry, 2-3 patches up front with the old map, right?
yeah,
Which
which
in
is
my
still going to
opinion
happen.
was, yeah. And I think that's not good. I think it should only be like 1 month, like, and only what they're like 100% sure they're
Okay,
gonna
but
deliver.
that's another thing. They're doing that. They're color
No,
coding it basically.
I don't
Yes,
think
they
they
are.
are.
Yes, they are.
Are you 100% sure on this?
Yes, 100%.
Because
Because
you're gonna have
basically what
3 months
they've said,
again.
but they're color coding those. So basically, the things that they are above 90% sure are going to end up in that area are going to be color coded green. All the stuff
Wait,
that
wait,
is
wait.
under 90% is going to be basically as like gray, represented that it's fluid.
But why
And
have it? Why have it in the simple map?
here's what I think.
Why you're
I
hyping me
think
for something that I know chances are not going to. It's a wrong feeling that we
there's
get.
no hype. There's no hype. Like
Maybe not
ultimately,
for you.
if you see something, okay, so let's say you're on the release view and you're looking at 3.13, and let's just say ships and vehicles.
Stop. Wait. You're not okay. So I'm a new player, and I don't understand the release view because I don't understand half the things that are there. Right? I don't understand the wording. I don't. But I see a ship.
Okay.
I see a ship 3 months from now in a roadmap. And you want to tell me I'm not going to get hyped about that?
You might get hyped about it. And here's the thing, and here's my point, is you might see that, you might completely misinterpret this roadmap, and you might think, "Oh my god, this is for sure coming out then."
Yes.
And then it doesn't, and you're mad.
You're
And you're going to go
disappointed.
and you're going to hammer on your keyboard on Spectrum and Reddit and shit like that and say, "Wow, this moved. Ah, this game's a scam, blah 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 blah." And then the people who actually fucking understand this shit are going to look at the progress tracker and be like, "You're an idiot."
Well, I'm not. That's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm not an
They're
idiot.
basically
You are
okay.
making me an idiot. That's the problem.
Okay, well no. See, here's the thing. Like let me rewind then, and I won't call you an idiot. But I'll say basically, because they
I don't
have the
mind, by the
progress
way.
tracker there, now the data is there so that they don't have to correct you
Okay.
or respond to your tweets
Sure.
or respond to your Reddit posts, because the people who know and who are looking at this progress tracker can see, and they can respond to the people who are angry. So CIG basically,
I don't watch YouTube. I don't watch streams. I'm not going to Reddit. I just see the roadmap. Here's
well,
the
and
thing,
ultimately,
Masto.
I'm sorry, but nobody cares about you.
No, but I'm the majority. The truth is, I am the majority in that case.
At that point, you're not paying attention to the roadmap either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you gave you as someone who's going to dive deep, and me as well, I'm just trying to take another side here, but like you and me, we have a progress tracker now, which you can dive in and actually understand how things work. And then under it, which I also disagree, I think the simple roadmap should be the first topic, and
I
then
agree.
right,
I agree.
even though it sends you to the roadmap anyways, but it's the second one. They might change that. I don't know. Other people complain about this as well. I just don't think
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Well, I mean, they
So
did mention right off the bat that this is like 0.5
sure,
version.
yeah,
So
yeah, and they're gonna add more and all that. So my take on this is the simple version of the map should be just what they know is coming in the next patch. Like they know it's because then that person who doesn't do all the stuff that we do can look at it and be like, oh, okay, this is coming out. It can be
Hmm.
like two things. It doesn't matter, man. It's fine. But it's one or two things that are coming out. That's it. And then those
Yeah.
who want to dive deep into it and think about it and brainstorm like we are and talk about it in streams and YouTube videos and Reddits and Discords and whatever, we have the deep dive, the deepest ever dive into a a progress bar where they literally like they're x-raying themselves right now for us, right?
Yeah.
Which is never seen before for such a huge project, I think. It's great, right? But I think
Yes.
the simple map should just be a simple map with only
This is
truth
what's
on
coming
it.
next.
Yes.
Okay. And you know what? Very well, it might be. Now that I've said that, I'm actually looking back at the roadmap because I thought at the letter, and I thought I remember them saying something about the fact they're still planning on having a release view with 4 quarters outlined there. But I could be incorrect on that. They could have been talking about the progress tracker. So just add an asterisk there. I might be wrong.
I think
Um,
they're going to add more. That's what I've heard from multiple sources, and I
but
don't know
but I still think that
it's better
even
what
if
we
they
had.
did,
It's
it's
better
better than what we.
than
Yeah,
what we had. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Basically, I frankly, I would be fully satisfied if they ditched the release view entirely and just stuck with the progress tracker,
Sure. Okay,
because
I'll be okay with that as well.
that's where I'm spending most of my time personally. Even though, yes, it's complicated, they could do a lot here to streamline, and they probably will do a lot to streamline it, make it more easily understood. Um, I really like how the data is here to be able to look at precisely, or at least more precisely, what's going on behind the scenes, why things are moving, where they're moving to, so there's no more like, this disappeared from the roadmap and it's gone forever because it's not
Sure.
on any of the other cards. Like you could just very easily pop into the progress tracker and see exactly where it moved to and what gained priority over top of that.
They
Like,
also
I
said
think
you're
this
gonna be able
is,
to see the roots, like of what I don't know the exact wording, but like whatever. Let's say you and me are working on Ursa rover, but it needs wheels, and someone else is working on wheels, and the wheels will be done later on, and you will be able to
yeah,
like see and connect these things and be, this is why. So this part is over, but now it's waiting for some tech or whatever, and you can
yeah,
see like
something like
where
that.
that
Like,
tech is in the plans for whenever.
yeah, and they've talked about how a lot of those, I think they call them upstream teams, are not really like listed here yet, but they plan on it.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I think this is great because I think this will ultimately help to counteract a lot of the like fucking pitchforks and torches that go up
I don't think.
every time something changes on the roadmap. By just basically not even having to really respond to any of that, because the people who are kind of like paying attention really closely to the progress tracker will be able to respond to those pitchforks and torches for them.
Let's say like
I
if it
feel like,
was only the progress tracker, then that Andy would come to you and be like, dude, what the hell is going on here? And you would be able to say like, okay, what are you talking about? You're gonna have your stream, you're gonna put it on the screen and be like, okay, are you talking about this one? Okay, let me explain. Da, 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 da. Perfect, fine. But if that person can see the like, man, it's another unnecessary issue potentially where there was no need for it.
this
Because it's
you think there
potentially
was no need for
lying.
this?
No. I just don't think there's need for the old roadmap in this mix. That's all.
Yeah,
Just either make it just a fact this is coming out, unless the fucking nuclear bomb drops or whatever. You know what I mean? But
mm,
or nothing, or nothing. Even nothing would be
yeah.
better than the speculation, because it's a speculation. Is what is a gray one? What does that even fucking mean, dude? Like, it's bullshit.
Honestly, I'll agree with you there. I'll agree with you there, and that like the whole color coding thing. It's pretty clear that people don't fucking read, because like one of the things with the old roadmap was like disclaimers all over the place, like literally a pop up that pops up into your screen
True,
when
it
you're
is.
trying to view the roadmap for the first time that says none of this is for sure. This is just our best guess. And yet people would still treat the old roadmap as a promise board
Well,
and
because
freak out anytime anything
it gives
changed.
you that feeling of hope
Yes.
for something.
Yeah.
It's the
So
feelings. It just works like that, and then it gives you disappointment. It is what it is, you know.
and absolutely like putting in a color coded thing where like
Not gonna
green means
change it.
90% go and gray means like possibly like under 70% probability. Like I think you're right in that that's probably not the best. And
Maybe marketing
if
wise it makes sense, but then have a special one for marketing purposes. I don't know.
maybe, frankly, this release view I think would be fine if it literally just showed what was coming next patch for sure.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah. But anyways, like that's I mean, there are a lot of people who go into this a lot more in depth, and
Yeah.
ultimately there's a lot of subjects on this progress tracker that are like, dude, we could do whole shows on them probably.
I'm sure we're gonna
So
pick that every now and then.
yeah, for sure. So but that's kind of the gist of it. The progress tracker is awesome if you really want to delve into the depths of like what their targets are and where certain tech pieces of tech are, where ships are in the timeline, what their priorities look like, etc. I definitely recommend checking it out. It is a lot, but but if you spend a few minutes just kind of like clicking through things and seeing how it works, it's really cool. And if you want that level of data, I'm glad that it's there, and I'm excited that they're going to potentially add even more to it. So
I agree
end
with that.
topic.
Yeah. All right. So the next one, Imagination Station. All right. So this is where we wanna do what we do best in Star Citizen, right? Look into future and imagine things, right? More or less.
To
What
borrow
could
from
be?
Salty Mike, this is full on imagine, quote unquote,
Yes.
imagine video.
Yeah. However, before we start, so this is a problem that we have always. Like, whenever we talked about starting a podcast, we would end up in a long discussion about something. We were like, man, this could have been a whole
Like a whole show.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then today, no difference. We were setting it up, and it's kind of scuffed, by the way. We're still working on some visuals and whatnot that might be up by the time post this or not. Doesn't really matter. But during that time, we of course we had another conversation about about something that then we decided to bring into the show, and that, so we call it capital ship size comparison, like real world today compared to future, which like Star Citizen, right? Star Citizen point of view. And before we start with this, basically, I used to work onboard cruise ships for about 10 years. Um, and I've spent, so that means that I've spent a lot of time on board massive ships. Um, Easily comparable to some of the biggest ships in Star Citizen when it comes to like length, and definitely not comparable when it comes to number of people on board. And Maso, you said you've been, well, you've been cruising a bit, but also you were on the no.
No, I haven't been on any cruise ships, but I live on an
You live in
island,
a,
and we have
yeah,
lots
yeah,
of
yeah,
cruise
on the
ships
port.
visiting. So
See them all the time. And
I
then you
see them
were
a
on
bunch.
the, on which
USS Kitty Hawk.
there we go. So we have some point of view, like from the perspective of current reality, and then I had the problem of how this was implemented into the game.
Sure. And also, I have to clarify, I didn't serve on Kitty Hawk. I was a kid, and my dad's friend gave us a tour around the carrier, and it was awesome. It was easily one of the coolest things I've done as a kid.
That's absolutely amazing. I was on Enterprise, right? Enterprise is in New York. I think Enterprise is docked there, and it's actually
This was in the Pacific.
Well, this was like a few years ago, and they have like actually they have a Star Trek training for, I don't know, some position kind of sort of, which is like a museum, but also they have like part of Star Trek like thing, tour, whatever. It's cool. But yeah, I haven't been on other actual carriers like but I've been to a lot of cruise ships. Anyway, so here's the problem with me. So I kind of feel like the ships in Star Citizen, especially the big ships, are small. Are extremely small in my opinion, and heavily undermanned. And so this comes from my perspective of like real life ships currently, plus playing EVE Online, because if you think about like a Titan in EVE Online, holy moly, that's bigger than a station. It's massive. You can dock into them with like ships and whatnot, and you, when you see a Titan, your ship breaks. Like there's no other way of taking it, and it's almost indestructible, right? It's a beast. I don't feel like we have ships like that in Star Citizen, and then on top of that, the ones that we have that are player based, playable, playable, are kind of small in comparison. So to put this into perspective, Oasis of the Seas, if I checked it properly, it's like 360 meters long, and it has any Oasis, Royal Caribbean Oasis ship class has somewhere about 6,000 people on board total. So this is crew, and is about 2.8k crew and about 3.6k guests, if I'm not, like, this is off the top of my head, but somewhere around that.
Whoa, I didn't actually know that you had that many crew on board. We have
a lot of crew. It's even crazier on the smaller ships. Like, for example, if you go to something smaller like Legend of the Seas, you have like 1.8k crew and about 2.2k guests. You need a lot of people to maintain a ship like that, which is why there's a big issue with ships now, because even the skeleton crew for a cruise ship is massive. So just maintaining ships during COVID, this is why a lot of ships were scrapped, and it's a dying business right now, unfortunately. But anyways, when I look into, so we're gonna look into, I would like to start with Idris, because Idris is like semi-carrier. What is it? It's considered a frigate?
It's considered a
frigate, yeah. So frigate carrier, kind of, like, I don't know. it's a strange mixture.
Yeah.
But Idris, I think we checked before, it's 400 and...
No. Javelin is that long. I think the Idris is
300 something.
Crap. No, I don't remember.
All right, so about 300 meters, let's say, just about the size of a cruiser today. With cruiser, not like a
242 meters.
Wow, that's really not long.
No.
It's like an average cruise ship. Not like a cruiser. Cruiser is relatively small, like warships, but like an average cruise ship is that long. And then on that ship, you're gonna have like between 3,000 and 4,000 people, and Idris' crew is 10
to 30 or something.
And that's just laughable to me, really. The problem with this is, I have, from the game perspective and people who are not involved into stuff like this, it's probably going to be okay. But like for people like me who actually have personal like life experience on ships, it's impossible. It's like not something that it's hard for me to immerse. Now Maso has his theory of automation, basically.
What I was just, okay, sure. I don't really want to go into the okay, I don't want to go into the automation thing because like this goes down the rabbit hole of it's 900 years in the future. And we've already kind of established, well, we established it in the pre-show, I guess, that that is a logical mistake if to when you're looking at anything in Star Citizen.
Did we? I think
There
this was our conversation before. Bring it up.
it was okay, so basically, okay, with Star Citizen, don't ever try to use the it's 900 years in the future,
It doesn't make much sense.
therefore this should exist argument, because in order like Star Citizen is not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. You have to suspend a lot of disbelief in order to be immersed in the Star Citizen universe. But and as a result of that, that's kind of why I didn't want to go down the automation route side of things, as justification for such small crew sizes on ships, because AI factors into a lot of that. And
can you just draw that line? Sorry, that because this opened my eyes when we were talking about it before the show. Where I agree with you, but they're really trying hard to like make it look like simulation, space sim, but and at times you feel like it is, but then Maso brought something that dogfighting. If you want to talk about that, because that's amazing. That kind of opened my eyes. Like I was like, what? Oh, okay, that makes no sense. Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. It's the same thing. It's the reason that you don't want to say 900 years in the future, for any argument in Star Citizen, because at the end of the day, there's no way that 900 years in the future, fragile meat sacks like us humans will be jumping into starfighters and flying through space in close quarters dogfighting, because that's stupid and it never would happen. I mean, we're already at a place right now where modern militaries are realizing the weakest point in a machine like a fighter craft is the squishy meat sack that can't endure high G's for extended periods of time, etc., and they're starting to move away from it.
But I saw in Battlestar Galactica that they're still flying.
It's space fantasy. But anyways, I mean, all this is kind of off topic. So, but that is one of the possible reasons behind these ships having like lower crew complements, because you have more and more advanced automation that allows you to kind of have smaller and smaller crews, which I will say is realistic. That is definitely the way that ships, that futuristic warships would be going. Fewer and fewer crew required for larger and larger amounts of combat capability. But that's not Star Citizen universe.
Big ships then?
Probably not, to be honest. Well, I don't know. That's kind of like there are two arguments to that. The larger ships you have means the more weapons you can pack on board, means the more power you can pack on board, means the more armor you can pack on board, but it also means the more mass you have to haul around. Mm-hmm. But anyways, again, like that's kind of way off topic here. I mean, sort of.
This whole section is off topic. It's fine.
the thing that I really wanted to say to respond to what you were saying about how the low crew counts don't are kind of ridiculous on Star Citizen ships, and the thing I really wanted to say was, yeah, you're right, they are. And even CIG acknowledges this. They've talked about the Idris that you serve on in Squadron 42, and they've talked about how while 30 is the projected max crew count for an Idris in Star Citizen, it just didn't work with Squadron 42, because exactly, the ship felt empty.
The thing is, the spaces are real. The spaces are, so if Idris is 200, what did you say, 280 meters
240 long, 242,
that's actual 240 meters compared to your character's steps or whatever, like that's what it is. It feels like the real space. Maybe the walls are a bit thicker or whatever, on board a cruise ship with six of that size, 6,000 people, it's not packed so that people are falling off. It's just a normal amount of people for such
Yeah.
size, right? And it feels normal. It doesn't feel cramped. It doesn't feel like let's put it this way. When during the World War II, let's say, so I don't know the exact numbers, but my favorite ship, the Old Reliable, which is Titanic's sister, Olympic, was used to so the original is like same like the Titanic. The original role of this ship is to ferry basically people from one side of the pond to the other, right? Basically just crossing Atlantic. And then during the war, when you're bringing troops back and forth, this this number of people quadruples because there's just
Yeah.
so much space in this
Yeah.
massive vehicle. The same stands for like there's no way and there it is, like Olympic is roughly the size of Idris. So if you can have like 5,000 plus people on Olympic, what are you going to do in a ship
Yeah.
that size with 30? It's like you're gonna see a
What
person every now and then. Everyone's gonna be in the bridge, or I don't know.
Yeah, well, and that's ultimately what they did with the Squadron 42 Idris is they just packed way more people on there. You know, way more than was required, because ultimately, like, I mean, in to be fair, in the story setting, you had to have, you know, different shifts of crew to man,
True.
you know, so like that pretty much doubles the crew count right there.
And
If
also
you're
you
running
need
two
crew
shifts,
that you don't need in a game. Like you need
yeah,
you have
janitors,
you need
cooks,
you need staff
all that
captain and
sort of
they're
stuff.
like whatever the
Yeah.
yeah, the shrinks,
So they
the
did that.
all that, man.
So obviously they recognize at some level that the amount of crew required to run a capital ship in Star Citizen is ridiculously small, and that's why they increased it in order to make the ship feel alive in Squadron 42. However, in Star Citizen, I'm glad that they keep the crew counts low like that, because it's a game. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if we want to be able to use these big ships, like, dude, I mean, rounding, as somebody who's played MMOs, we both have played MMOs pretty extensively. You know, like, you recognize how difficult it can be in some situations just to get 30 people together to do
Oh
something.
no, sure, no. But see, I see this. What I'm wondering here is, are they going to add bunch of um NPCs to Idris, for example, player Idris? Are you going to be able to have 100 people on board at least? That's like tiny amount of people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think you'll be able to, but two, I think they've also been pretty clear of you know, the expense of that. So ultimately, I don't think that you'll see capital ships very heavily populated in the Star Citizen game. I think that's another one of those situations where you're going to have to kind of suspend disbelief, because you know, because at the end of the
Even
day,
now, if you go to 890 jump with like 5
yeah,
people, it
yeah,
feels sad and
empty.
empty, and
Yeah,
it's
totally.
depressing. So in
Yeah.
that case, if you the problem is people will not want to play these ships in that case, man. Like I'm afraid of, because the game gives you a
You won't want to
feeling
live on those ships.
exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the big thing. I think you'll still find Idris's in use for gameplay, you know, because it's a useful force projection
Weapon, basically.
weapon. Yeah. And it's something that you'll be using for, like, basically raid content, as we've kind of established that we assume capital ship gameplay will kind of be. Um, it'll be like a raid or a dungeon or whatever, you know, when you're playing multi-crew in other MMOs, if you're going to draw that
Yeah.
equivalency. But yeah, but as far as like having it so that there's a ton of people on there and it feels like a living, breathing ship, I don't know. I don't think so, personally. I don't think they'll feel like that. I think they'll continue to feel kind of small, and, or rather empty,
Empty. Yeah.
and too large for the amount of people on them.
Yet small for what I would expect from
Yet small, yeah,
future
exactly.
compared to like what we have now,
Yeah.
because they're smaller than current carriers.
Well, yeah.
And
And
they
this,
carry bigger ships because a spaceship is bigger than a plane. Let's say you have, so that's another thing. Like um the carrier, so which one was I checking out? one of the Nimitz class carriers. It has
Yeah.
140 planes, which like it usually operates
Yeah.
with like 100,
And
right?
their crews and their fuel and their armaments and
Yeah. But
yeah.
here's the thing. Like you have hundreds. How many fighters can you fit on Bengal, for example? Roughly, if you
Uh,
know.
I don't know, but a lot. I don't know if it's that much because again, like you have like there's game issues there,
Yeah, but
but
the game,
I don't know
like
if
the
you've seen
ships
any
are
like
right. The
if
Gladius
you
is so much bigger than, I don't know, Stuka or whatever. It doesn't
oh
matter.
yeah, absolutely. But like have you seen the pictures? Like I mean going off of his concept images, but if you look up images of the Bengals like fighter decks, dude, they're huge. They're
Okay,
huge.
but I hope they
And
can
they're
have at least like 30, 40 fighters on them.
I think that that's correct in that
Even if it's
like
just an NPC ship, I don't mind. It's
they
fine.
also have bigger ships on there too. Like there's
Okay,
multiple decks, like multiple fighter decks. There's the like and there's hangar decks below that. But like yeah, like the pictures that they show anyways, there's like fighters lined up and there's like retaliator bombers,
okay.
in there and like so like the Bengal does seem to have a pretty again, this is just going off of concept imagery, but does
Sure,
seem to have a
but
pretty
that's the
significant
idea. The idea is what we can go off for. And to
yeah,
make it clear, like
speculation.
I am a player who likes small to medium sized ships. So I don't like anything bigger than like MSR or what's the name? Like I like the size of freelancers, for example. That's my gameplay. And I will gladly be occasionally part of a bigger ship as a crew member, sure.
Mhm.
But I want these big ships in the game because
Yeah.
the big ships expand the game and imagination. Like I want them as either player ships or NPC ships. I don't mind. Like if that's a raid where you have to like defeat the Bengal full of freaking carrying a bunch of retaliators and whatnot for some reason, and you have a whole fleet of player run ships. It just makes it just yeah. I want to be in that terrapin somewhere hidden, watching the whole thing. The server,
Yeah.
or something where I can go and salvage later or whatever. Like. But yeah,
Yeah.
that would be so cool. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right in that like the sizes of the ships are off, but even though they're smaller than you necessarily want and they don't have as many people on them as you want, I still think that they're impressive pieces of technical like demonstrations of
I agree with
technical
that.
ability here because like
Even the smaller
I
ships.
can't yeah, like I can't think of in fact I don't at least as far as I've experienced there's been no other games out there that have even attempted to make large ships like this that are full levels on foot, to wander around,
No.
and are fully interactable and fully like pilotable. Like I can't think of another game that's even attempted
I
that,
mean, not many games
you
are
know?
tring, but like Elite Dangerous
Yeah.
is now giving
Well, that's
space
what I mean.
flags. But the first
Like
thing they said, you will not be able to walk around the ship.
yeah. So like why even then?
But I'm also afraid of the details of the ships and the amount of like moving parts and everything potentially might be the bane of the game at one day because
Sure. Maybe.
god damn the servers that are going to need to be to run this game are
Yeah.
going to be holy.
Well, that ultimately is where the dream of server meshing, where imagined server meshing goes,
Yeah, but
right?
how do you
Like the
server
whole
mesh a Bengal then?
you have multiple servers running that one ship.
But how do I see it then? It needs to load on the server I am if I'm in the
Yeah, but that's the object container, right? So basically the ship itself would be divided up into various objects, and inside of that, if you were actually
Sure.
inside of that and rendering inside of it, those parts are the parts that are on multiple
I
servers.
know. But like that ship, if it has like 3 retaliators,
Oh,
5,
okay.
like, and then there's 50 of us flying in like 2 aegis and whatnot.
Yeah. Well,
That has to be
ultimately
on the
that
same,
remains to be seen.
Yeah, I don't even know how they're gonna do it, but yeah.
I read
guess
an interview with one of the guys who got hired to be the like chief network something in CIG, and he talked about how he was so excited when he got the job, but then when they told him what his job was, he went home and cried.
I don't blame that guy at all.
Because he was like,
Oh.
I have no idea how we're going to pull this off.
It's impossible. And at the time when it started, it was even more impossible. So that's another part where they are changing the way the games are, right? So let's hope those Amazon servers can take it.
Let's hope the network guys can pull through and manage to put this together. I mean, like,
Also,
I have
let's
faith
hope
in them because they've done. Sorry?
Go for it.
I was just gonna say they have some, like, they've done some awesome things so far, but yeah,
True.
yeah, capital ships are gonna be next level as far as implementation. I'm really excited for it, to be honest. Like, capital ship gameplay is one of the major things that excites me about Star Citizen. So cross my fingers and hope they pull it off.
Yeah, I'm afraid that capital ship gameplay might be the same as like 100 systems, where we're gonna start with like 5 systems and like no capital ships, and then somewhere in the future when tech is there, we might get the Bengal, or something like that. And I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Totally. At least they're playing around with some of the bigger ships in the last couple patches. I think it's cool, even just to see them in the game, even though they're just shells. It's cool. It's really cool to see ships that big. And again, even though they're not, that big in real life standards, they're still big in game, and it's pretty cool.
Impressive. They're very impressive, and they give you the oh shit moment, which is always good in game.
Totally.
We can segue to your zero effort science section.
This is kind of a ripoff of a podcast that I'm also working on, which is Masso's Zero Effort Science Show.
The only science show where you can see deers in the background.
Yeah, it's been really rough so far, and honestly, work's been kicking my ass lately, so I haven't really followed up with any better episodes. But one of the things I wanted to talk about in this section was just about kind of the science in Star Citizen, like what it does right, what it does wrong, which is a lot, but but yeah, specifically I guess in this one I wanted to kind of talk about like one of the things that Star Citizen science does pretty close to right, and that is actually the quantum drives. Now, I'm going to be the first to add the asterisk here that says I am in no way a scientist. I'm just a nerd. Hence the zero effort part of this.
I'm a scientist.
of this science section. The quantum drives. One, I hate the name quantum drives. I think that science fiction it's practically a meme right now, where if some movie or show wants to make something sound sciencey, they just throw quantum in front of it, and the same goes for these. Because ultimately, the way that a quantum drive works has nothing to do with that. It's purely a relativistic kind of a thing, unless they're using some sort of bizarre quantum functions to kind of like to get the space to distort, which I suppose is possible. But still, you guys come up with a better name, for fuck's sakes. Except for I know they're not going to, because they've just doubled down by calling the fuel quantanium.
And quanta is the economy system, right?
Yeah, well, that makes more sense. The quanta system,
but they like the
makes
name,
more
obviously.
sense. But quantanium, are you fucking kidding me? Like that's right up there with unobtainium.
Yep.
From fucking Avatar. Like, and I thought they were memeing. I thought they were joking, and then they doubled down on it, and now it's in the game.
They might be.
It's not even a placeholder.
I still think it might be a placeholder. It's not that hard to change one word.
I really hope not. I really hope they do change it, because it literally makes me want to vomit in my mouth a little bit. But anyways, quantum drives, I think, are cool, because basically the way a quantum drive works is by compressing space in front of it, so that when you are traveling through it, you're traveling more space than you would otherwise in uncompressed space. And we have to kind of rewind on this a little bit and give like a little bit of background here, which is that first of all, we all live in this thing called space-time. It's a series of overlapping quantum energy fields that have certain rules, and one of those rules is that you cannot travel faster than, we call it the speed of light, but it's not really actually the speed of light. And because and that the reasoning behind that is because if you go faster than that, you're actually violating causality, which means you're doing weird stuff with time travel. Like, for example, if you travel faster than light, technically you're arriving at your destination before you even left. And you can't do that, basically. Like, you would tear space time up if you tried to do that, but also it's impossible because you'd never have enough energy. Anyways, so the way
it's
around
good that it's impossible, right? I guess.
yeah. I mean, I guess so. Again, I'm not a physicist, so yeah. But anyways, but the way around that is the quantum drive is actually based on a current um, a current model of faster than light travel that we actually have that seems actually plausible even in our real world, and that's called the Alcubierre warp drive. And basically, how it works is by just squishing the amount of space in front of your ship and then traveling through that space and then letting it unfold again. So you're traveling a far distance, but not actually traveling that distance.
This is this is impossible, like, for my brain to understand. I'm like trying to make a picture of it in my head with like in a cartoon. Like, you have a ship flying and then the space in front is like
yeah,
and
it's
then
like
it goes
all of a
through
sudden
and it's like whoop.
it's all of a sudden you like so say you're traveling to the moon, it's like temporarily moving the moon closer. And
Yeah,
then
but what about like what about the
okay,
rest of the world seeing then?
okay, well, they would see a weird distortion of space-time, but like I'll put it in perspective. Like, everything distorts space-time. Like, the earth distorts space-time, black holes distort space-time, any sort of like large massive object bends the space around it. So
Visibly or
ultimately
not?
what, like, actually physically, like, that this is reality,
but
man.
are we capable of witnessing this with our own eyes if we know how to look into it?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
like, the reason that you see nothing when you look into a black hole is because space is bent so severely down into that um like fold in space time that no light gets out of there. So that's why a black hole is black. It's like there's literally the space there is bent so severely downwards that nothing gets out of it. It's literally just like looking into nothing.
I just know I shouldn't get
Um,
close to black holes.
Yes.
That's
Here's a good way to visualize it. Here's a good way to visualize it. So if you have, say, like a blanket put down on your bed and you press your finger down on it, it creates like a little like divot down into there, right?
okay.
That's what happens when a massive object distorts space-time.
Okay.
So basically what and that's kind of like the general premise behind distorting space-time. So what a quantum drive does, or what an Alcubierre, maybe not an Alcubierre warp drive because that's kind of its own different thing, but a quantum drive basically takes that, instead of pressing that downwards into that mattress, it kind of scrunches the blanket up.
Okay.
So so
That's crazy, dude.
yeah, okay, so let's use the blanket example. So you've got the blanket and you're here, and the place you want to go is here, and you just scrunch the blanket up, so now here and here are closer, and then you move over there, and then you
So
unfold the blanket
how
again.
does a drive do that at the back of your ship or whatever?
Well, this is a weird thing because technically in real life we don't know how to do that without something called negative energy, which is as weird as it sounds. Like, it's as if you had energy but negative that. So ultimately we don't know how to do it. It may not even be possible, but like, according to the math, it should work. And in this universe, they're basically saying that quantanium has properties that allows
Oh,
us
negative.
to apply negative energy to something. So you
Okay.
apply negative energy to kind of a phenomenon in front of your ship, and that's what allows you to kind of compress space time. And it's not faster than light. It's only about 20% of the speed of light, according to the game's lore. So it's only just kind of like just sort of squishing space time in front of you. And that allows you to kind of do it. And there's a bunch of other theoretical problems around that actually working. Like, for example, in real life, when you scrunch that blanket up and then move across and then unscrunch the blanket up, all the radiation that you accumulated in the front of your ship by moving through space, which happens, radiation's everywhere in space, has accumulated like a bubble on the front of your ship. And then when you unscrunch space, all that radiation fires out in front of you like a giant like laser beam,
yeah.
basically. So in
So it
theory,
can
if you
destroy or
you'd fully sterilize any planet that you were pointing at, basically. So there's that,
That's not
and
good.
they do something different in Star Citizen. But the general premise of how you move around in Star Citizen by compressing space in front of your ship, so you're traveling faster while not actually traveling faster, or traveling more distance without actually traveling faster. That's probably a better way to look at it. Is that's based in some actual scientific stuff. Wow, I really butchered it this time around.
No, it sounds good, and I'm actually, this blows my mind because I look at it as a game, and I like space games and TV shows and whatnot, but it never crosses my mind. Like, I think a majority of players and those who enjoy stuff like that don't really care about it, if that's the way to say it, and just accept the fact that it's impossible. But how else would you do it in?
Well, and ultimately in the game, all it does is speed you up.
Well, yeah.
Like,
but if
like
there's
the actual
actual lore
numbers.
and the idea behind it that potentially, maybe in future, which the game is in the future, is technically doable, that's actually fucking amazing. I had no clue. So you started talking about this before the show, and I was like, wait, stop, because I I don't know anything about it, and I want to hear it when you explain it live, and I mean during the recording. And
I mean,
it's crazy.
also,
I like it.
Also, disclaimer, like, again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just am a nerd who listens to a bunch of side stuff. So it's entirely possible that I've missed. No, in fact, I know I've left out some major things in this, but I always think it's interesting to kind of like, because I'm interested in stuff like this, when I'm playing Star Citizen and I see them doing something that, like, hey, I know what this is doing. Like, this is this particular kind of concept. I just think it's cool, and I think it's fun to kind of point that out. And I'm kind of hoping on like future podcasts, future episodes of this podcast, that I get to kind of continue to point out the neat nerdy science things as I see them. And I don't know. I mean, maybe
100%.
people will correct me in the comments. I really hope that people correct me in the comments because I don't know what I'm talking about. I just am kind of interested in stuff like this, and I think it's fun to talk about. It's something that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about with science fiction games, is the actual science behind
the
it.
fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I feel like I have the same. See, the lights, the wrong side of the lights on the ship. Like, I mean, it's a much simpler thing, but like, that's how I see it, is like where you are paying attention to some different things, and I'm paying attention, right? But it's really cool when you have this connection between your knowledge and the game, and then you get to like think about it in essence. And
totally nerd out about it.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Fun.
That was good. I like this because most of the time in this section I will be silent and like have some really stupid comments, probably because I don't know anything about it, but it's super fun to listen to and maybe learn.
Well,
something.
I don't know. That's kind of why I hope we can kind of like ask questions, because like, honestly, if you're asking questions and I can't ansr it, that means that I need to go do some more. Yeah, I need to go do some more research.
I will ask questions like today, but I mean, I'm curious about it. It's interesting, but I don't have any knowledge, and I kind of like it that way because I'm pretty sure majority of people who are going to listen or watch the show are standing on the same point where I am, where I'm like, okay, what? No. And then you have to use your blanket to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ultimately, we need to figure out how I can just like screen share paint programs so I can just do little.
You need to
little
like
doodles,
pre-paint it, and then we can have it in another screen or something.
Totally.
Or you might be able to.
Yeah. Because it's much easier to describe if you're looking at like a grid. Honestly, like, if you're looking at grid paper, or like a grid on a surface, and then you just kind of squish the grid so the squares are smaller.
No, you explained right. Like I mean, I told you what I like, how I have it in my like little brain.
Yeah,
that's what it is in essence.
If your ship can move 4 squares per turn on this grid, and all of a sudden you make those squares smaller, So you move those 4 squares, and then all of a sudden you make those squares bigger. All of a sudden you're a lot further away.
Further away, yeah. No, it makes sense. When you explain it, it makes sense. But I did not have such information in my head, that's for sure.
Okay. Anyways,
Alrighty.
moving on.
Moving on. We are already over 2 hours, which is a sweet spot, kind of.
Good job,
we wanted
us.
to go for. Yeah, and it was easy, and we still have more to talk about. Not too much, but yeah, a little bit more. So the Stanton gossip is something that will be an interesting part of our own experience doing this podcast, where we are going to mention some. Okay, so the preface is, both me and Maso are spending a lot of time listening or watching our content. Basically, 2 of us devour probably everything that comes out weekly between like 2 of us.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say everything. But...
Well, of course, yeah. So there are things that we like and agree with, and things that we don't like and don't agree with, and that goes to extremes, obviously. I just want to say again, whenever it comes to us like talking in a strange way about the content, just keep in mind that we don't mean anything bad about the person itself who is making the content. And keep in mind that a lot of content creators are doing stuff through roles, kind of. So I'll take someone, for example, that I'm not going to go with a name, but if you are a pirate player in the game, you're going to look and create your content through the pirate view, right? So at the same time, you might say things that someone who is not a pirate or doesn't care about piracy in game will disagree and think that it's shit take or whatever, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you hate that person or whatever. Well, at least not for us.
So what he's saying is we're going to get all fired up and we're going to say some things
exactly
that sound like we're all mad at people.
Yeah.
But we're not mad at the people necessarily.
No, but at their content.
Yeah, we're just fired up about their content.
Sometimes, yeah. All right, so I'm going to start with a couple of those that I think... So the idea is, for if we saw something, like, we're going to push for it, like, it's just like if I or Maso like figured out there's a really good thing that happened in the past week, and we think that you should take a look-see. Yeah, we're gonna have all the links in the description, and yeah, you should be able to enjoy some of that stuff. So I'm gonna start with Salty Mike. Salty Mike is someone who I watch every week. He has 2 shows. One is Answer the Call, where he gives the voice to people who don't have platform or have the platform, but he can share his, which is a really good show because you get to hear how the community feels, and not because I always say, like, streamer or content creator has completely different experience of Star Citizen than player who doesn't get anything in return. And then he also does another weekly show every Monday where he goes through all the news, basically, like whatever happened in it. But lately he started doing some other things on YouTube, and this is what I want to bring up. He made a new mining guide for the 312, and he's miner most of anything. So if you watch his streams on Twitch, you will see him mining a lot. And lately he's been doing some trading and whatnot, but he's that, like, how do you call it, industry based player, basically. So great video. Again, I'm gonna put the video in the description. Very informational, some nice views as well. And Mike will say things that are not good easily. He doesn't. There's no rapping. It's not a beautiful Christmas cake or whatever. It's just gonna tell you if something doesn't.
I thought it was like really informative though. Like, I watched that video and I was like, whoa, like, this is awesome. Like, he goes into the different lasers now, how the lasers changed. He goes into the different refining practices and how how those work, the different consumables, and like what consumable combinations to make. Like, man, like I watched that one. I was like, oh, thank God.
It's
I'm really interested in trying
in depth. It's really good. It's a bit longer than what he usually does. It's like, I don't know, like almost
like
half
20
an hour.
minutes or something.
Yeah, 20 minutes. But it's really good to watch. Another one that I went for, Tomato Talk. another really great content creator in my opinion, and he did it as well. Like he also the guy streams and he has a lot of videos about like he does ship reviews and whatnot. Doesn't matter. But he did a high effort, a beautiful scenery. I was mind blown actually.
Yeah.
What is SC in 2021? The ultimate guide. This is really good if you're a new player. It is a little bit of an eye candy. It doesn't tell you too much of a negative side. It's more of like, you know, what you would like to see, but it's true. It's made, he's just a player. He does it in the game. He does have a really good community who helps him make all these recordings and everything. If you
Mm.
guys know about morphologists, I think the next in that line who really takes
Yeah.
long time and pays a lot of attention to like visuals to make Tomato Talk definitely. So yeah,
His production value has come up so far
crazy.
since the first videos of his I've watched. It's
Mm,
crazy.
yeah. Then the next one, this is Captain Burst is mainly a streamer. And I was he flies a hawk and I fly a hawk, and he was trying to get
Weird looking ship.
I love it. He ended up trying. He was a streamer when 312 just came out. He was streaming and he was trying. They were trying to spawn in Idris. He has a massive viewership on Twitch, and it was not going for a couple of days. And then I woke up one morning and I saw a YouTube clip of him. Well, it's a bit longer. It's like 20 minutes as well of him soloing the Idris. It's an Arlington gang Idris, and he soloed it with a hawk. And holy shit! Have you seen that?
I've seen the title and stuff like that, and I've seen little clips of it, but I haven't actually like sat down and watched the video.
Okay, I
But
watched the whole video and I didn't have that idea because it's long and it's him nuking one ship. And the reason he posted is probably not why I watched it. But oh my god, this blew my mind. So the Idris itself has a new shield tech on it, and Burks is flying around the belt of the ship, like the middle part, and he's like constantly using his, I think it was like laser like repeater scatter guns or whatever, and
yeah.
like punching into it. He wastes the entire fuel, loses wings, whatever. But you can see the degradation on the freaking Idris, dude. It's so good over time. Like I did not expect that already in the game, because that's something we're getting with the next patch 3.13 for our ships, right? But holy moly, the ships looks the shields look so good, and
Yeah.
that like the damage on the ship, the explosion itself is not that good. It's like double distorted sound or
no.
whatever. I don't
What?
like it that much.
I love the explosion. That's another like science show thing I could probably go
Sound?
into a little bit. Was like no the the sound, whatever. I mean, there's no sound in space, but
Yeah.
suspend disbelief was that final reactor where you see like these jets of like particles go flying out in like lines away from the reactor core. Like that's cool, man. That's something you see
What would happen?
when a magnetic field is like funneling particles in a particular direction. You see that in like gamma ray bursts from like active galactic nucleuses, like supermassive black holes. They fire these giant jets of particles out from their magnetic poles. And yeah, so like when I saw that come out of the edges, I was like, oh, that's a cool touch. I
I'm
like
not
that.
like visually it looks good to me as well. There's something, I don't know if it's a bug or server latency or something, but if you paid attention to the sound of it, whenever a player kills an Idris, there's like double boom that just sounds distorted.
I think I know what you're talking about. I
and
can't.
that's so awkward to me. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I think that's probably a bug.
feature.
I will say that one of the things I saw about this particular Idris kill was like there was a lot of chatter on various social media channels about well, I guess the Idris isn't that tough then and stuff like that. And I have to kind of just say, put a pause on this, guys. This is the first rendition of the Idris in game. There's
It's
no
not even
physicalized
there
components. There's
for
no
that.
physicalized armor.
Yeah.
You know, like the current difficulty of Idris being shot down is not indicative of like of what the Idris will
Also,
be
we have a
like
server
long
limited to
term.
50 players. Like, what do you
Yeah,
want?
yeah.
Unkillable again? Like,
Yeah.
chill. If you're one of those guys, just chill. It's not
Yeah.
what
I
it's there
just
for.
I mean, all it is, all I have to say, regardless of player caps and stuff like this, is like obviously this is a first rendition, and it's not going to be indicative of
It's fine.
what an Idris is like in game,
Yeah.
like in later on.
And Jab when it comes. Hopefully
Oh yeah,
next
yeah,
patch.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely worth to look. If you're not willing to like watch through the entire thing, just skip a few times and check out the actual damage on the ship. I did not expect that level, so I didn't kill Idris. So when I saw that, I was like, holy shit! So that's cool. I don't know if you watch all the captain tables. I've never been there. I had a couple of talks with Paul himself, especially on Twitter. A very knowledgeable person. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about him. So the Astropub captain's table last week, actually a pretty good show. Two captains around the table that I don't think ever visited before. Tomato Talk that we talked about already, and Privateer Time. Both of these guys very good at, like, they have very recognizable voices, and they're known for that. Tomato Talk has a very deep voice.
I've never heard of Privateer Time.
I never heard about him either because he doesn't stream, but he does narrate something, and that's what he's like known for. And so it's always good to have guests on your podcast where their levels of sound are amazing. You don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? Because Paul has been doing something really nice lately, but it, from my perspective, it's been a struggle a bit. Captain's Table has been around for a while now, and yeah, like I've said, like you have visited it a couple of times, and it's a quality show. However, he was kind of pushing for new faces throughout the entire month and even longer, I feel like now. And yeah, I will just say some people were there who are brand new content creators, and probably there's a bit of I mean, even like I was on Mike's show 2 weeks ago or so, and you get that if you're watching a show, you get that little bit of I don't know how to explain that, how to express that. Overly excited, kind of, and then it messes you up in a bit. I don't know,
Yes.
you know, like a brand
Bit of the
new
jitters.
person, yeah. And then you're exposed to many more viewers than you usually are, and then there's questions in the chat, which he does that as well. So yeah, it can get rough for new creators. Kudos to him even trying and doing something like this. It's really nice. That's what Mike does as well. I appreciate that. Like giving a platform to people that don't have it at that level, it's really a nice thing. That
It's some varied perspectives.
it gives us more than we are used to. Because let's face it, whenever you're watching someone for a long time, you kind of expect something from them, and then when someone else comes and you never heard of, it's always good to hear something new. Exactly. And then Meyer, I already said. Meyer did read. Meyer read the whole letter to chairman, which is pretty good. If you don't want to read it yourself, again, another streamer very well known about his voice. He's been playing the game forever, knows all about it, and he streams a lot. Also part of the Fortnightly Frontier that totally is not fortnightly anymore. Maher and Darian.
Sometimes it's fortnightly.
Sometimes it happens, yeah. They're amazing guys, and you should definitely, like, if you haven't read and you don't feel like it's a very long read. I did not expect it to be that. I expected a third of it or something like that. So if you don't have time for that, you can just check Myers read.
I don't know. If you like audiobooks over like paper books, you know, go let Meyer read the CR's letter to you.
Yeah. I mean, you can read it yourself as well. There's going to be links links are in the description, basically. And the last thing I want to say, there's a lot of like Star Citizen, which I don't really like much. Hot take. There's a lot of gifting of packages and whatnot around the Twitch category. Like a lot of people, I feel like, are building their streams through giving away ships and star packages and whatnot. It's nice at one hand, but like then we can talk about that sometime. Like building a community, it's not really the right way how you should do it. But right now there's a lot of giveaways on YouTube and Twitch that have talons starter packages in them, and that's a solid starter package.
Totally. That's $90.
It's $90. The ships are new, so
Well,
they're a
$100
bit
actually.
overpowered. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're LTI as well. I don't think they're. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, a really cool ship to start with, especially now that the bounty hunting missions are a thing. So keep an eyes open. If you want to start playing a game you can't afford, go to Twitch, search for Star Citizen. There's always someone giving away at least one Talon, and if you check some of these content creators that we mentioned, some of them also are giving away Talons nowadays. So yeah, definitely try and get yourself one and try playing the game. You have anyone to add?
No, but one of the things I wanted to say is that I'm personally constantly looking for new Star Citizen podcasts and stuff like that. So if anybody is watching this and has any to recommend,
Yes,
fire them down in the comments. I would appreciate that. I
always.
watch, like I said, Captain's Table frequently, Yacht Club, Salty Mike's podcasts, Fortnightly Frontier. Those are the ones I'm kind of like tuned into, as well as like Board Gamers, AMAs. But like I've been encountering more and more scenarios where there's been like new names coming up in the like Star Citizen podcast scene, and I don't know any of them. So yeah, like if there's more out there. Oh yeah, Relay Station's another one I'm usually keeping up on. Soul Citizens is another one I just thought of. But
There's
yeah, like yeah, if you've got some, fire them down in the comments, because I would absolutely. I'm always looking for more.
I mean, even
I
if we
listen to
mention them,
podcasts.
yeah, even if we
Yeah,
mention them, you can
yeah,
say
sure.
what your favorite. For example,
Yeah,
I get nothing against Board Gamer. I think he's super important for the community. But like, I get my weekly takes from Mike and Super Mac brother Ryan.
yeah,
Great streams as well from their side. But there's so many. Like, yeah, obviously I would never skip what I think both of us. Whenever Morphologist does a video for Star
yeah,
Citizen is just a great watch. I like Lord of West when he does his reviews for the ships.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
but podcasts specifically, because
yeah.
like I listen as I work, and yeah, the podcasts are a great way to fill the hours. So yeah, podcasts specifically for me, but obviously other content creators as well. We're kind
Sharing
of
is
rabid.
caring. We love it.
Yeah,
We devour a lot of content. So please, if you find something that is good, throw it down into content. You can, in the comments, throw a link. Feel free to do so. There's no like basically we do this because we like talking about Star Citizen, and amongst other things, to meet other content creators that we maybe don't know about, and get more. More is good. All
yeah, agreed.
right.
Yeah, so that's all I really had to add to that. So I guess pretty much time to wrap up, hey?
Yep. Time to wrap up. You have any final words?
Not really. Besides that, for future episodes of this, we're thinking of streaming this live as well, and kind of doing the kind of thing where you take questions and from people who've submitted them, and just talk about them and discuss them kind of close to the end of the show here. But and that'll be probably streaming on my channel, so twitch.tv/mastercast. But yeah, other than that, I think that's everything I had to say.
Yeah.
We didn't really come up with an outro.
Oh, that's
Whoops.
okay. It's not. We're gonna do better than Fortnightly Frontier, I'm sure, when it comes to outros.
Well, they have music that comes in.
Okay,
and stuff.
the visuals we're working on it, and sound. Okay, but yeah, yeah. About what you just said. So you can see the link under Maso, Twitch TV /MasoCast. The idea is for you guys to be able to throw questions that you think about like throughout the podcast. I am personally against talking about these things throughout the podcast itself, but then we decided we can have, actually, again, I like the idea of having questions from the community, so we decided two of us can talk about the potential questions that you guys have, like pick up few, and then if this becomes more popular, in the future, would be down to like dedicate more time to that separate thing potentially. But yeah, if you have any ideas or suggestions as well, I know not a lot of people are willing to share the ideas, but like feel free to throw them out there. We are new at this, building it up from the scratch, to get our own platform, kind of to be able to express, and any suggestions are welcome. We might not use them directly, but I want to hear about anything, and yeah, maybe implement something cool.
And I'll
And
just call you stupid if you make stupid suggestions. Chegg can be the nice one, the diplomatic one. I'll just tell you straight up.
I'll defend you. I'm gonna be the white knight for the viewers. With that said, well, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna say this now, and in the future, Maso can do it if he wants. I'm just not a huge fan of asking people to subscribe and like. But yeah, it's the first episode. It does mean a lot, especially because we decided not to go for any of our channels already, but just create a brand new channel. So the YouTube logarithm will struggle probably a bit at the beginning. Word of mouth is probably what I would ask for more than anything else. If you enjoyed it, made it this far, if you liked it, and you know someone who also listens to podcasts and plays Star Citizen, make sure you tell them. And yeah, if you like it, please do subscribe and hit that like button.
Yeah,
And
I'll do this in the future because I have no problem being a algorithm whore.
good, because I never do it on my channel. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching with us, and stay safe and healthy. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.